The following program deals with a controversial
subject.
The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
top talents in the comic book business are here to tell everything they know.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Tuesday night, another Industry of Comics show here on Beyond Wednesdays. What's going on, gentlemen?
I'm glad I woke up at 9:10 and I'm like, holy shit, I'm late. And next time I see Dennis is like, link. I'm like, oh.
I love the first question of the night. Eggplant Comics says, my first question is, who do I have to blow to get Wi-Fi around here?
Yeah.
That's what I was laughing about.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 98 of the Industry of Comics show, where we'll be taking questions. If you guys have any questions for us in the chat, let them fly. We'll do some answering throughout the show.
Oh, shit. We should have had Liefeld on tonight for 98.
Yeah, I know. I was just getting ready to say every show should be a first appearance. What is the most important? I mean, except for like 1 and 100, but 98, I think, is the only key book in the 98 world, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
What's Spider-Man? What's Amazing 98? Isn't that a minor key? Like
no,
no,
90 Captain Stacy or something?
94 is
101
Black Cat, but it's not amazing.
194. 194 is Black Cat.
Yeah, it's Black Cat. Yeah.
No, I think either 97 or 98 is Death of Captain Stacy.
Isn't that 101?
No, that's
121. No, 101 is Morbius.
Oh.
121.
101 is Morbius.
121 is Punisher. Or
No,
is Death of Gwen.
129. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Captain Stacy.
Oh, okay.
Chat.
The father.
The dad.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
Chat, tell us, old people who have autism or Alzheimer's,
CRS, can't remember shit.
Can't remember shit.
We're the only show that stumps itself. Right? We haven't even started. Ask us questions yet. We're stumping ourselves.
Yeah, if we can't even ask our own self questions, how are we going to answer the chat's questions?
Yeah,
that's funny, dude.
Oh man.
Well. No comics code.
Right.
Yeah. I knew 97 and 98 are important issues.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a good one where the acid issues. If you guys don't know the story of that,
and I'm sure Brian will tell us.
Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil wanted to do a drug issue at DC, and Julie Short said, no, not going to happen. And they're like, come on, man. We're having this really terrible heroin epidemic in New York right now. We need to tell this story. And Julie Short's like, get the fuck out of here. Go draw me some, hero stuff. I don't want to hear it. Well, across town at Marvel, they heard that Neil and Denny wanted to do the drug issue. And I forget who he said told Stan. And Stan said, well, if they're not going to do it, we'll do it. So they did an acid issue without the comics code. And as soon as that happened, Julie called in Neil and Denny and said, do your issue. So they would have done it first if it hadn't been for Julie Short.
They got the speedball issue.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah. Well, that one was at least about heroin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah. Yep. I used
quite a bit more graphic than... dropping acid.
When I used to talk to people, one of the biggest problems that you have, at least that I had back before the fentanyl crisis, with families whose kids would get into drugs, especially heroin, is, they would say, I don't know how this happened. Like the parents would be like, I've never done drugs. It was never something in our house. I don't even know how to deal with this. And they would be so they feel so shitty and guilty about their kids being caught up in drugs. Like, how could this happen? And I would fucking bust out this story, and I would pull out Green Lantern 85, and I'd hand it to him, and I'd say, you see this? Even fucking superheroes can get addicted to heroin. And I would tell them the story, and boom, I related on a level to them to where they could understand me, right? Other than, hey, I'm a former heroin addict type deal. But I told.
Oh, and by the way.
Yeah. I told Neil that story, man. And when I told him that story, he just busted out the whole story of how that issue happened and everything. And I'm pretty sure he did it on mic there. If you guys go look in the channel, there's a Neil Adams interview, and you guys can listen to it. So pretty fucking
that's
cool. Yeah. I can't really see it, but I have a 7.5 dual signed by Denny and Neil of 85 next to me back there. Yeah. So all right.
And you weren't a pussy for sharing that interview.
You got it. Speaking of that, look at that. Funhouse Comics with the $9.99 super chat. He says, for MegaCon, maybe you can buy a piece of gum with a $9.99 super chat. So let's go ahead and replay that.
That'll get you half a piece of fudge.
Yeah. Right.
At MegaCon, no, wouldn't even do that. Get you the
No, they got the convention fudge, which is $20 a pound for fudge. Have you been to a convention lately, Jesse?
Yeah. They sell fudge at every convention.
Convention.
Yeah. They're all over the place. Fudge and nuts.
Yeah.
Or fudge in nuts in your fudge.
Yeah. Wow, we're getting into some weird territories right now. I don't want to talk about nutty fudge.
Look at that. Lord Zero just dropped a $50 super chat for my guy. Appreciate you, brother.
Drugs are bad. Call me V.
I gotta hit you up, Chris. We gotta talk. I'll hit you up over the next couple days, see how everything's going. All right, some questions. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I really want to hit on that real quick. You guys' support of the channel has been amazing lately. The numbers have been great. We're hitting like 2,000, almost 2,000 views every episode now. Even the non-live stuff is starting to hit views. I put out a clip of one of the market reports, and it hit 2K. It's been really great. And all you guys that have been, dropping the likes and subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That is one of the biggest things is, trying to keep those subscribers going. But look, more than
Bryan,
anything,
I don't care about 2,000 viewers. I just want 200 dedicated viewers. I only need 200 dedicated viewers. Forget about those other 1,800.
Look at that. Lord Zero just dropped another $50 super chat.
Ooh.
Thank you, brother. Love you, bro. All right, let's get into some questions. We have open questions for the show. If you guys have any questions for us, drop them in the chat, and I'll do my best to see them so we can answer them as we're going through the show. I think there's a couple that I might have missed already. Three River Comics says, any thoughts on what will be the absolute Batman of 2026? Will the Spears momentum continue? Who's the hot artist? Ito flops other? ?
Can you pull up that image that I shared with our group chat a couple days ago?
Yes.
Because this is breaking news. I wanted to save it for this show, but tomorrow I'll have a whole series of posts online with it. But I wanted to share it here tonight first.
All right, here we go. So
the red one first. Yep. So if you get PSA magazine, it just arrived yesterday. The PSA Jimmy Awards. It's self-serving and it's blah, 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 right? It's got a lot of really interesting posts in it. But the one that got me that I thought was perfect for our show tonight, Brian.
One sec.
Best comic artist, Mark Spears. And I will say this. I don't believe Mark has even done a PSA signing. This was unsolicited. This was them deciding that Mark Spears is the best comic artist of the year.
Yeah, so here's what it says.
I can't read it from.
This is fucking amazing, you guys. Like the biggest industry websites don't even mention Mark, but PSA Comics mentions it. Known for his creator-owned comic book series Monsters, Mark Spears' art style blends classic horror and bold, vivid realism. His Monsters number 8 Winter Horrorland blind bags broke a personal sales record with 362,000 copies ordered, contributing to 1.3 million total copies printed, making it one of the highest-selling independent comic blind bags against titles like Invincible Battle Beast #1, Batman #1, and Batman #1. His art has been featured on numerous covers from major publishers, including Marvel, DC, Image, and Dynamite. PSA, great freaking job. That is absolutely perfect.
To me, though, it's even more important because so many huge people who pay attention to the industry missed the Mark Spears boat for over 2 years.
Yeah.
These guys have been in the game of comic books for 6 months, and they recognize what Mark's accomplishments are to this industry. To put somebody who has no relationship with them at the top spot of their comic book awards.
But I think at the end of the day, also, they're not trying to protect any old guard.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's the main thing I took away from this. I think where we start, I truly believe 2026 starts on new Free Comic Book Day. I think that's where we see where the direction of the industries then go. I'm looking at titles I never heard of before that could be game changers in this industry. I can't, I don't have the list in front of me, but I think that's where we kind of get the buzz of the year. Not only is it directional for retailers, I think it's going to be directional for the consumer as well. I mean, we already had people, for some reason today was the big Free Comic Book Day question from a lot of customers. What time are you opening? Are you carrying these titles? How does it work? So I think that's going to be the gauge for this year for my business. You can kind of say Absolute Batman and you can say whatever Spears is doing, but there has to be other game changers other than those two, or else we're in trouble.
Well,
so we've
been talking a lot about a book that's supposed to be coming out this year for a long time. And I've been telling Mark, I told Mark, it's funny, Mark brings it up a lot, but I told him a long time ago, I go, the industry is not going to give you any credit until Spawn 77 comes out, in my opinion. I mean, that's, that's a big way of saying it. But
here's the thing. And you're sitting right next to the guy who can tell you the answer to that one.
So
Todd will get the credit.
So
Todd will always get the credit.
No way, dude. Mark's going to be doing the covers, writing it, and doing the interior. Todd, of course, is going to get credit for Spawn, but that's going to be a big thing for Mark, for the industry.
Todd will be a code writer. Todd will be a co-writer.
I understand that, but he's not doing most of the writing.
Emmet, your nephew, how did the industry beat down his door after the successful King Spawn?
But he's not Mark Spears. He doesn't already have a name going into it.
I'm just saying, I don't need to prove my love for Mark Spears. He says,
any thoughts on what will be the absolute Batman of 2026? I think that there's a chance that Spawn 77 could be that book, but here's the problem. It needs to be longer than 3 issues to be that book. Mm-hmm. It was initially there was rumors that it was going to be a 6-issue, 5-issue miniseries. Now we're hearing rumors that it could be a 3-issue miniseries. I don't know, but I think that if that book could be the closest thing that we know of the absolute Batman craze, but it's not an ongoing. So right. That's the problem. We don't know what the new series coming out in 2026 will be, because there's not a lot of them that we know of other than Spawn 77.
The industry is holding a lot of stuff close to its vest right now. And I hope it's because they have killer stuff to announce throughout the season and the convention circuits, etc.
Right.
But I don't believe so.
Right. Whether it be Berserker, something new coming out with Berserker this year, I think that's going to be something that's going to be very, very hot as we go into the season. Wonder Man, who knows? Doctor Doom, absolutely. If there's a Dazzler thing, maybe that can hit the numbers there. But I think
when is Saga ever going to come back?
Nothing. You guys are talking about old stuff, though. We're not talking about new series.
No, I'm talking about new stuff. I mean, they could do new storylines. I mean, why
is Batman anything other than just a rebooting of a different Batman?
You got it. Yeah, true.
I mean,
and Saga's been on hiatus for. It hasn't been a regular monthly book for.
Yeah, but they're not going to do. They're not going to do a new series of Saga.
No, but it would complete. And if it came out and was monthly, those numbers would be big.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, this is a gauge of how does the media, these movies, the TV shows actually start making a difference in the comic book world continuously instead of just this buzz and then it's gone. And I think that's something hopefully works for in the future.
And I honestly think, and I know Emmet will disagree with me, but I honestly think Marvel has been trying to cook up a few things. And I think that's why Ultimate Endgame is going on now, so that they can wrap that up, launch this new X-Men at Free Comic Book Day, and launch a few more things alongside of it.
5 months into the year, they're going to launch the new X-Men.
Yeah, but Batman
5 months into the year.
Marvel's 2026 is dead in my opinion. Marvel is
DC,
nothing comic-wise. The only thing that they have.
What month did Ultimate Batman come out? Absolute Batman.
Like November or December.
Right. That was at the end of the year. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Of 2024.
Right.
But what I'm saying is you can still make an impact, because I was talking about Absolute Batman in December of 2024.
I don't see anything coming out of Marvel that is worth, especially if you read, like, Emmet, do you read much Marvel stuff right now?
I do.
Not
too much.
It's so bad. It is so bad. Yeah. It's unreal.
No, I that's why I don't read that much of it. I read if I like it, I read every issue. If it's bad, I read like every third or fourth issue to see where it's going and if it gets better.
Right.
There's only a few a few books that I think are worth reading at this point. The Hulk book,
Daredevil,
the Old Man Daredevil.
Yeah, if the blind bags come out on Daredevil 1, really good. I know the story's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the art is strong. It can't be just like Marvel superhero art. It has to be something above that.
It has to be. Well, here's the thing, and I said this as kind of derogatory to DC. The only thing that made an impact at DC was Scott Snyder's Absolute Universe. Everything else fell to the wayside. No matter how decent it was, nothing had a giant impact as far as DC went. If Marvel pulls a line-wide reboot or reimagine, whatever they're
with writers they dumped.
They don't have any writers.
I know.
Yeah, Brian Bendis is a joke. Like, that was their big deal, is bringing Bendis over. That guy's old school. Put out crap for years.
He bailed on Marvel
political
for a reason.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Real quick, here's our next question. How does SDCC intend to enforce the ban of AI? Will they have some type of scanning tool to check all products? Well, that leads us into our next storyline. This was a pretty big thing. San Diego Comic-Con under fire for allowing AI at its 2026 art show. This is crazy, right? But they changed the policy after the outcrying of people going, what the fuck is going on? This was before they changed it. Comic-Con International, organization behind the storied San Diego Comic-Con, has come under criticism for allowing AI-generated pieces to be exhibited at this year's art show. Their website states AI pieces can be displayed but not sold at the auction, which will be held during this year's convention. According to the official guidance from the show, here is the rule. Material produced by AI may be placed in the show, but but only as not for sale. It must be clearly marked as AI produced, not simply listed as a print. If one of the parameters in its creation was something similar to done in the style of, that information must be added to the description. If there are questions, the art show coordinator will be the sole judge of acceptability. What were they thinking? Like, I don't understand how they think that this is not going to cause a problem.
I can tell you why. Remember that we shared a video or a picture of, I think it was the LA Comic Con, where you could get yourself scanned and turned into an AI comic character. Do you guys remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
LA.
Well, that was a vendor who paid a lot of money to have that booth at that convention.
Yeah.
That, I think, is the answer to this question. There is so much money in AI that to have a blanket anti-AI would be to lose all of that potential AI money coming down the train. You know what I'm saying? And Disney has not come out with an anti-AI stance, unlike Jim Lee did at New York Comic Con. So, and I'm not saying Disney's using AI. I'm just saying they haven't come out with that stance.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Why would they do that? I mean, that's
But they
crazy
did use AI for the opening credits of Secret Invasion. So there's just a lot of things, and I think they bought into an AI company as well. So if you come out with an anti-AI stance, all of a sudden you now have to go crack the whip on Disney that buys a lot of space at San Diego. You have to crack the whip on any one of these publishers who has not come out with an anti-AI stance. I don't think they're ready to do that yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think the way they determine it is, and this is where all the problems are going to happen for SDCC. You don't think a artist who doesn't like Jeff Smith isn't going to yell, Jeff Smith is doing AI. So they have to go over to Jeff Smith's table. And then Jeff Smith says, I'm not doing AI, but that Alex Johnson is doing AI. So they're going to spend the whole time running around this con trying to find AI, right? Conventions are very strange. You can't bring food into a convention, right?
But you can buy a shitty hamburger for $8.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, guess what? People have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in their long boxes, right? They got soft drinks in their CGC box.
Sure.
If you create a rule, there will be people out there breaking that rule. So I'm not saying it's a bad rule. I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of policing, especially at a con this big. That I think that's the challenge they face, a web page that is definitely using AI to create that web page, right? So we'll see how it works, but I think they're going to find out this year. They're going to be running around chickens without their heads, and then the following year they'll probably have a better understanding of what they actually have to do.
I'm going to quote the great Ned Beatty from the movie Back to School. In defense of Mr. Mellon, it was a really big check. And that's how they're going to police AI.
Probably. I don't see them running around checking. I see that the threat. So just a little anecdotal thing. My back parking lot's not owned by my landlord who owns my building. It's owned by the landlord next to me. So he put up signs that said, "We'll boot your car if you park here and you don't have a pass." He doesn't have a boot or insurance or anybody watching the parking lot. It basically was, I built the high fence. Let's see if you come over it.
Yep.
And that's basically what it's a threat. I don't think they'll enforce it. how many people will break it. Like Dennis said, there'll always be, and Jesse said, there'll always be people that break these rules.
Yeah, and it's a simple thing. Someone's just going to say, "I think." I
Yeah.
think XYZ. They're not going to say Johnny is doing it. They're going to say, "I think XYZ." And usually those people that say "I think" are the ones that are actually doing it, right? They're going to try to. Yeah, exactly. What happens on Saturday? Okay, well, I won't do it on Wednesday night. I won't do it on Thursday. I won't do it on Friday. Saturday, well, I got these books.
Yep.
No one's paying attention anymore.
Right. Right. The first 2 days are gone by, or 3 days are gone by. This is the busiest day.
So this is what San Diego, what happened after they put out this thing. The pushback on Comics Blue Sky was vast and unrelenting from all areas of the industry after Carla Ortiz pointed out the policy in a post. Later yesterday, that policy was quietly changed on the website. Material created by artificial intelligence, either partially or wholly, is not allowed in the art show. If there are questions, the art show coordinator will be the sole judge of acceptability.
Right. What?
And notice nobody says anything about AI writing.
Yeah. What does art show mean? I'm trying to figure out what's that definition.
That's the art show.
They have that one room where artists get to submit their art and then they're judged. It's off-site.
Here, it says it right here. The art show is one of the oldest but least publicized elements of the sprawling pop culture titan that is San Diego Comic-Con. Currently, it is set up at the Manchester Grand Hyatt. You do not actually need a badge to attend the exhibit. Artwork that is submitted is offered for sale via quick sale or silent auction, and that seems to have worked. According to the San Diego Comic-Con website, quote, "You will see numerous original drawings, paintings, sculptures, and pieces of jewelry and more unusual items, all created and displayed by professional and amateur artists. In 2025, more than 800 items were sold by the 116 artists exhibiting in the Comic-Con art show." However, according...
so this isn't...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So this isn't on the floor.
No. It's in the hotel, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is one of the legacy events. They had an art show back in the first ones, Jesse. You remember it used to be off the side of the main floor?
Yeah.
As the floor space became more and more valuable, the side events that were legacy and had to be maintained moved off site to places that they had for free from the hotel, but they couldn't waste the valuable floor space for. And this is where it is basically been shoved off to the corner next to the merchandise, next to the game room, next to all the other stuff over at the Hyatt.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. So at San Diego Comic-Con, on the actual floor, A through C or whatever it is, A through D, there's no rules against AI.
That's not, they have not said anything about it on the floor.
Wow. Okay. That changes everything just right there alone.
It does. Definitely. To me, and to quote Bryan McClay, it's kind of a pussy move.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see where this continues because, listen, this AI stuff is heating up again. It's become one of the biggest talks in the industry again. I don't know if you guys have been seeing this, but the pitchforks are being lit again. Okay, they didn't have enough oxygen to fully form a flame. The last couple of times they're being lit again, and tons of artists and creators are having to answer to questions about AI. As a matter of fact, we had a thing in the drama alert on Saturday where somebody called out an artist or a creator who I actually met in San Diego a few years ago. Called out Mark for AI art. He opened up his book and called it AI slop. And we all know here that Mark's not an AI artist. Right. Anytime he jumps on the show, you guys can see him actually. He's spending most of his time when he's on with us. He's drawing on his pad next to him. So we've seen his original art, but that doesn't mean anything these days. All people are being called out. Look at Cedric Pouliot being called out by his peers.
Art term today.
now we have Artgerm being called out. And here we go. He's having to show his, preliminary stuff. This is such a beautiful cover, by the way. One of the best of the year so far.
Yeah.
But here he is showing his preliminary stuff, like having this is going to moving forward. This is going to continue where people,
this goes back 95 episodes, Brian.
Yep.
When I talked about watching Jim Lee for the first time draw with the pad, and he just touched the hair and then went over to his tablet and selected the type of hair he wanted. And all of a sudden, poof, all the hair. Now, in a hardcore anti-computer generated world, that would be considered AI. But because Jim does it, it's accepted. And then every variation below that is accepted until you say, Grok, make me a picture of Magic fighting Catwoman. And then it's all of a sudden verboten.
Some of Artgerm's pencils I like better than his finished product.
Yeah.
The I think the colors are overproduced on all of his stuff. I do like like you said, the black and whites.
But a lot of that fading is done by the colorists now, and they're using computer tools that use some kind of artificial production to make it what it is.
And that's been going on for 20 years with Photoshop.
Yeah, easily 20 years.
Yeah.
So
I think the thing is
ahead.
they manually build the tools, though.
Yes.
They make the tools themselves. It's not like you just talk into it and go, "Hey, I want you to use like."
Yeah,
right.
These
James Cameron didn't say, "Make me a water tentacle that looks like Andy McDowell's face." He had to build a tool. He had to rely on people to build a tool and then do something else to make the tool work, and then have 1,000 people behind that tool make a water tentacle for Abyss, the first giant computer graphic in a movie.
Yeah, I think what you just saw Artgerm do, I think that should be standard now for every artist. You might as well just put it out now. Don't wait for someone to accuse you. Just make it a standard part of your day.
Well, here's the problem.
It goes back to that Napster. But hold up, Brian, it goes back to that Napster era where the music people said, they're just stealing our music. They're stealing our music. But a handful of those people said, this is going to happen either way, whether we like it or not. Let's go on tour and let's make our next CD have a poster insert with all the liner notes and blah, 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 and add value to buying the physical. And, I just think that a lot of people are going to bitch and moan, but there's a lot of other people that are just going to work harder like Artgerm and show you his work.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I also don't know why DC and Marvel can't, when they do blind bags, can't do. Maybe they don't want to do what Mark does by putting in the Holy Grails, but book plates. I mean, in a blind bag, a book plate, you just get 50 or 100. The writer and the artist sign it and throw it in the bags. I mean, they've been doing book plates.
It's so easy to sign 50 books and send them to the printer, or sign 200 books and send them to the printer and ask them to put them in. That is not a hard thing to do. Yeah. Here's something that I reported on on Drama Report that was so ridiculous. David Aja came out and complained about Mike Deodato's Ultimate Oz book, where artists are totally using AI to create panels. The characters don't even look the same from panel to panel. It's obvious AI. I mean, look at the hands. Look at Elton John. It's ripped from the city isn't the same. I mean, this is so. Look at the Scarecrow. He's different in the Tin Man different in every panel.
Right.
This is the type of thing that you start seeing this, and it's got Mike Deodato's name on it. One of the biggest and oldest. He's been in this industry forever. He's an amazing artist. We know.
Right.
But to have like his name attached to this is not good. This is like Greg Land.
And I'll tell you where I think this is going to be
100.
good. Billy Tucci decided, I have been waiting for Hollywood and the people who can to create a she cartoon an animated series. Now AI has finally caught up. I can now draw my art and then tell AI to animate it. So it's not going to go take some non-existent art and ape other people's style to create a she animation. It's going to take Billy's art and he's going to use the tool to make an animated she. That's where I think this is a benefit, but we're always going to have people like this who use it as the in-between tool.
Yeah. Ken says, wouldn't you say companies are making it harder for consumers on these sub services that it's turning people back to physical? What is that? I don't understand that. Yeah.
He's saying basically what I said with the Napster is, artificial stealing music was easy.
Yeah.
You could have whatever you wanted, but at a certain point, if you wanted to give that creator,
he's talking about our business model though, where we're doing physical media, because all the subscription, that's what subscription
exactly.
Services. So yeah, owning the media yourself is way more freedom. Yep. You know what made me smile? I was in Walmart the other night trying to get an arm for my first Whatnot sale, and they had a wall of DVD players.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, baby. Sell them DVD players.
Here's a action figure Torium says, love Tucci big time, but no one in the audience wants to watch an AI anything. The brain just switches off. And I don't know if that's the case, but I will agree with you that there's something about AI being fake that it does switch off my brain. Like I'm like, yeah, this is so. It's like there's something. You're right. That does switch off my brain with this type of stuff.
Right. As good as it is, it's still
uncanny valley.
Yeah.
Right.
Princess Leia at the end of Rogue One. Yes, it was neat to hear her say hope, but it was jarring.
It was
then when they
weird.
used AI Tarkin, it was jarring. Then they did AI Luke, and then the immediate. Do you remember when AI Luke showed up at the end of Mandalorian?
He looked
season
great.
2? He looked good, but when the next day that guy who did that software switch on it made it look even better, and they hired that guy to do Mandalorian or Boba Fett season 1.
Yeah.
And it looked 10 times better than the end of Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's tools out there, and there are technicians with those tools. You give me a hammer and nail, I'm going to make you the worst table you ever saw. You give it to Nick Offerman, and he's going to make you the greatest table you've ever fucking seen.
Right.
Okay. You can have the tool. It's the technician of the tool that makes the product.
Yep. Yeah. And I think one of the things you want to look at is people that create AI are driven by the consumer who buys it. So if people continue to buy it and they get, let's say their goal is 25,000, they do 25,000, they're then continue to do it. So it's very tough to say, well, the publishers or a creator, or as long as people are buying, then they're then continue to do it. And so it kind of, right, exactly. It comes down to the consumer. It says, no, I'm not going to buy it. And how that happens in the future of AI in the comic world is the challenge.
Yeah. Educate them. So what about, like, they'll be forced out of conventions, maybe, but what about all these pop-up little street fairs and all this? They're going to be all in on those,
right? Exactly. And again, if you're an artist waiting for a convention when you have this, that to me, that's not even thinking like a creator or someone who wants to sell stuff. Why are you waiting for a convention? You can have a convention 365 days a year. Emmet, when you do your first Whatnot show, you're putting on a convention.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So anyways.
Yeah.
Jesse, tell them I did want to steal it from you, but say your thing.
Say my thing. What is my thing?
No customers ever come in and said, show me the non-AI.
Yeah, exactly. No customers ever come up to the counter and said, hey, is there AI in this book? And so I think we are in a place where we have to also be careful. What if a consumer says, I like AI. What do you have in here that is AI? We don't want to jump off the board and say, oh, get the hell out of the store, right?
Yep.
So I think we are in a position where we have to listen to the consumer. For decades, we have told everybody what to buy, what to wear, what to eat. Now we have to listen to that consumer for them to tell us what they want to eat, and what they want to buy. And so for a retail, it's a little bit different. But I think the consumer right now controls how AI advances in the comic. We're just talking about the comic book world, because in the other industries, AI is
Full
king.
speed ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. They probably look at the
And
comic
I've
book
watched
world.
every one of those Star Wars AI mini movies, and I'm sorry, it's the best Star Wars I've watched in 2 or 3 years.
And
Agree.
the music, the AI music thing is fucking insane, man.
It is. I just
Making all the rap
Play-
songs, soul music.
Play
Hey, I'll
Billie
take this
Jean.
every day, all day, baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the one Play Billie Jean as a dark
I've
She
country
ain't that
song?
thin. She's
yeah.
thicker than that.
Yeah.
I don't care though.
Yeah. Exactly.
All
So,
right.
you know,
I will also I'll quote Larry David. The penis doesn't know the difference.
I want to answer, and we got some more questions here. Remember, you guys,
Okay.
if you guys have questions, let them fly. We'll answer questions. Next question. Do you guys collect gold and silver? I know the U.S. Mint has some Marvel and DC silver and gold coins.
Yep. Yeah. So silver hit $85, which was pretty cool.
97.
Is they at 90 now? Wow. Yeah. So that's
97. Yeah.
yeah. I think you know, if you're using some blue chip money and you want to invest, gold and silver is always a safety net.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's something that you have to take on. It's not like oil, right? Where you say, oh, I'll take 10,000 barrels of oil. They're not going to put that in your front yard, right?
But
But
there's a
gold
difference
still-
between gold futures or gold on the stock market and gold in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
If
gold you can walk around with is liquid.
If you have to ask, should I invest in gold, as everybody's talking about how it's just hit the highest mark it's ever hit? You're already too late.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I was buying cheap gold rings for $100 a piece. I was buying every piece of cheap silver 5 years ago. I was buying every coin I could find 3 years ago.
You know you still can get a deal on it.
You can still get deals,
Oh,
but
yeah,
what I'm
sure.
saying is, if you're now asking us, a bunch of antique dealing fake retailers, except for Emmet, of course, that should we buy gold at the highest price it's ever been in the history of the world, I would say you're too late. However, if you just want to have some gold just in case, then buy a little of it, but don't go all in. There's a lot of things that nobody's buying right now that I think you could make a lot more money.
Go to
in.
garage sales and buy gold and
Yeah,
silver.
exactly.
there.
Exactly. It comes in collections. You know, there's a reason why they call it the golden age, and there's a reason why they call it the silver age in comic books. I mean, it's a safety net of something that you can invest in and buy. It's not something you want to look at daily. You know, buy it, put it away.
Honestly, you know what and this is, do not take financial advice from
I was
one of
just
the
getting
most
ready to
successful-
say.
one of the most successful retailers on this panel.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying copper. And in the last 10 years, copper.
Except for pawn shops from junkies.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But nobody's buying legitimate copper right now. And the US Mint stopped making pennies because copper is too expensive to make a penny. That is a tell to me. Maybe you should have a little copper.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
next question.
But
Oh,
just
go
real
ahead,
quick.
Emmett.
So this, I just had it laying here. This piece of gold, I bought junk wax baseball cards, and at the very bottom of the bin is a nice 14 karat gold
Mm-hmm.
bracelet. Paid for all the cards and then some.
Yep.
So I'm just hanging on that. Hopefully it'll continue to go up. I think for the rest of the year it should.
Yeah.
Next question is, will blind bags die out by the end of 2026, or will there be another collecting fad to emerge in 2026?
I'm the only one. Well, I might not be the only one. I think they're going to burn it out. They're going to beat it to fucking death until everybody's sick of it. The only people that'll continue to be successful at it are people like Mark Spears, who puts the effort in to make it really exciting, to make it really different. You know, Marvel with their A covers and B covers in blind bags, bullshit. You know.
Yeah.
And I think those coattails are going to be very short, because we've already seen the Turtles blind bag. And, you know, I know Nikki is a friend of the show, but Nikki is going to try to make several more blind bags. I don't think they're all going to hit as well as he thinks, unless he changes his structure. You know, the Battle Beast was a huge success. And I think the Image partners will probably get 2 or 3 more good ones out of other properties that they try it with. But I don't think you can do the 350,000 model for Ultimate Endgame again.
Yeah, I think Spawn could, Todd could do a really good one where you could win toys.
Yep.
Like, so you could get more different stuff. That's the other thing, is Mark's the only one that was doing that, where it was.
But like, Todd's already said, we were there at the thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys think I should do blind bags? No, I'm not going to do blind bags until you guys demand I do a blind bag.
Right. Yeah. So my theory, my prediction is blind bags go through 2027. At some point, they change to mystery bags, like Emmet said. And all of a sudden, you're getting a little bit more trinkets than just a comic book. I think you'll get a lot of send-in stuff like Mark does. I think they'll start to pivot from that blind bag where you're just kind of getting a book to getting other cool stuff with it, movie posters and XYZ.
Marvel
But
I think have a vault of this shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think 2026 it survives. 2027 they do a pivot of branding and marketing. Again, I will go back and say, look at how many copies of Adventure 500 was sold as a blind bag, but wasn't actually a blind bag because everybody got the same book.
Yes.
So a comic book consumer will buy as long as
7,500 diamond accounts closed overnight.
Right, exactly. And keep in mind, as long as they keep the blind bag under, $7.99, $8.99, I think they're going to be fine. A majority, we say, oh my gosh, the guy's buying 50 bags. No, a majority of the people are buying 3 to 5 bags. And if they're just buying 3 to 5 bags, it survives for at least another 18 months.
I'm going to tell you guys why, and a reason why I think blind bags are going to continue. I didn't get to, as a live seller, right? I do eBay Live and whatnot. Obviously, blind bags are great for live selling. And I didn't get to partake in the Mark Spears blind bag craziness on live sales until recently. It's been, a couple months now since... When did they come out? So a month since they've come out. Most people selling blind bags on live, the winter blind bags on live sales, they aren't selling them for a ton of money. I got 3 cases of them in. They were all completely damaged, so I couldn't sell them. And I just recently got those replaced. Shout out to KeenSpot for doing a great job replacing those. And so on Sunday night, I got to finally sell some blind bags on eBay Live. I was selling 10 bag spots, no duplicates. If you got a duplicate in those 10 bags, you got a new bag for $50 starts. And they usually went from 50 to if I threw a book on top, like 50 to 80 bucks, I would say, for 10 blind bags, 10 to 12 blind bags, and a $15 to $30 book.
That's below retail.
Below retail, you got it. And I had so much freaking fun opening those blind bags. It was unreal. And now I'm talking about myself. These aren't even my books. I'm just giving them, I'm selling them to people. I had so much fun opening those blind bags and pulling out cool stuff for people. It was unreal. And I'm selling them for less than retail. That is the thing about these blind bags. If you do them right, there is an excitement with them. They are fun to open. Whether you want to complain about gambling or not, they're fun and there's an excitement with them. And you can't,
the only thing, business-wise, I couldn't sell them below retail. If I bought 1,000 of them, I couldn't sell them below retail and put a $15 book on top. That's not a sustainable business model. That's why
I get that. I get that. I'm not talking about the selling point. I'm talking about the excitement of them. I'm not talking about
they'll
the
always
selling
be
point.
exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you'll find them in bags. You'll find them 10 years from now. You'll find unopened bags, and it'll be really exciting to open them then.
You're right. And I bought out a dealer at a convention, and I just was walking through the dollar boxes, and he had to have been 100 of all those Harley Quinn blind bags from DC like 8 years ago.
They were great.
They were great, but they were sitting in a dollar bin.
And they still sell. If that person would have popped those out and threw them up on a live sale, they would have sold for $5
I bought
to $10
every
a piece.
one of them. I bought every one of them, the whole long box, and I actually got it for less than $1. And I had fun ripping those. And
what about the Walking Dead 15-year anniversary?
Yeah.
There's still sketches out there.
You guys keep on saying you had fun, but the consumer is having a blast because he's in a room buying something with 50 to 100 people that are cheering him on and congratulating him. So not only is it fun for us, we're creating an environment where there's so much great comic book therapy going on that you have to create these buzzes, and blind bags create that, mystery boxes create that. And I think when you're live, you have to always be doing something to make the engine run, to make that room pop.
Absolutely.
They're always popping.
Yeah. All right. Is there going to be any new fads for this year that you guys think is going to happen?
Yeah, like what we were talking about before, I think added value is going to be a fad. Either a scratch code for Marvel Rivals or some other like roadblocks or something video game related will be in the comics on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think
an advertisement or
I think Marvel had a great idea followed up in typical Marvel fashion by not following it up. San Diego having all of those awesome San Diego Spider-Man magic card variants and then nothing at retail.
Yep.
Swing and a miss, because there's some of those IDW shit-tastic comic and card, and they didn't even get good cards then, but people want those cards still. The High Tide card still goes for $20-$30. So I just think when you have something that closely synergized with your product, you have to follow through with it. And like I think it was Emmet or Bryan who was saying a scratch off for Rivals, that would still be huge. But I just don't see these guys capitalizing on it. They can't see the forest through the trees sometimes.
Yeah. So video games back, like I'm sure Bryan remembers this. There was, if you had gotten certain things, when you come to a game late, that's it. You can't get that special outfit or whatever. Guys were selling their World of Warcraft
loot,
or no, their whole account.
Yeah, my buddy,
$7,000.
Yeah, I had a buddy that got there was a weapon in World of Warcraft, the Burning Crusade, that was so hard to get that my buddy got that weapon and he sold his account that had that weapon for $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when?
So imagine if you could only get, and that's the way that DC did it with the shooter game, Fortnite. You had to get all the books, or the trade had all the codes in it.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you could get it. Now, did people share the code? I don't know if you needed to. They were one-time use codes or not, but.
Do you guys remember 15 years ago when there was an online game called Flappy Birds, and they sold like a million of them?
Angry Birds.
No, Flappy.
No,
Flappy Birds.
Flappy. It was it was on only on iPhone.
Right. And people who downloaded that, and then the company was like, yeah, we made enough money. The app is closed. People were selling their iPhones with that on it for huge amounts of money because they wanted to own that Flappy Bird game.
And then PlayStation 4, there was a demo game, a horror demo game that never happened. If you downloaded that, you could sell your entire PS4 for like 10 times its value.
Oh God. Do you know how many times I
deleted everything?
Delete everything on every PS4 I've ever bought in. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest fad this year that we're going to see is the accessorizing of every movie that comes out in not a retail store. And I think, I just left Racetrack before I came on the show. And not only did they have a stand of Pokemon cards, they had a stand of NFL cards, and they had a old stand of Marvel cards. And it's like, wait a minute, who is supplying these folks with this? And why is this all of a sudden, why don't I get those offers to have those big Pokemon stands, right? So I think you're going to see the way they accessorize it. And they used to do it back in the day, kind of like, NASCAR always accessorizes everything. Oh my gosh, get this Coke can, get this shirt, get this hat.
Oh, well, the guy, the race car driver who had the Warner Brothers and Cartoon Networks, they would change the entire car every game. And because there's huge money in selling those hoods to the super fans.
Yep, exactly. So I think that's where you're going to see is this extension of living beyond the movie and the comic into these other ventures, whether it be, traditional socks.
Are you saying they're pivoting? Jesse?
I think that, I think they're always pivoting, but I think they're in a super pivot here. Berserker coming out at end of the year. I don't know how you market that to maybe a American consumer, but you're then get a lot of Asian consumers, manga collectors. I guess that would be American consumers. So I think that's where you then see these new fads come out. There are fads in the collectible industry. I talked about one, which I'm not going to talk about tonight because I'm going to hold off on that. But there are things, if you do your research, you can tell what is going to be hot within the next 30 to 90 days beyond a comic book in your store.
There you go.
Well, I mean, and then let me go another, just because you talk about fads. 7 months ago, I was the first person on this show to say Labubu. And then we probably said Labubu and Lafufu a dozen times over the next 3 or 4 months. We haven't said Labubu or Lafufu or Pop Mart in 3 months.
Yeah.
That's how fast a fad comes and goes.
Yep.
It didn't last as long as Funko. Now, hey, there's a thing where is Funko at? I heard they didn't have enough money to get out of 2025, and I haven't heard anything since.
Actually, if you go to Bleeding Cool, Rich Johnson, I actually just had this conversation with him. Rich Johnson is at the UK London Toy Fair, and he was at the Funko booth, and he posted a picture of him in front of this Funko at the Funko booth. And I just said, I thought they didn't have enough money to last 2026. And he goes, oh, no. Funko UK is much like Diamond UK.
Oh, yeah.
They exist on a different plane from the US. And I think that's,
And I think that they had a lot of licenses, but I think they handcuffed themselves with those licenses not being broad enough where they could put them into different products to gain more interest or move their product from Funko into anything else.
Right.
I think that they and unvaulting shit. So the collectors went, oh, you're going to unvault shit? Well, forget about it.
Right.
I can't collect it. They're nice. They're a fun little item to have on my desk, but I'm not collecting it anymore.
Yeah, I think Funko has the mentality that will sell to everybody and anybody at any time, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that, as a seller of a product, that's not good marketing sometimes. That's actually a downfall. You have to understand what your consumer can consume and what they can afford. And if you're coming out with Gilligan's Island and you're hitting the whole, whatever it is, 8 people on there in 1 month, people can't afford that.
Right.
Spread it out over 2 a month or something.
Lord Zero is asking me a WoW question. He says, do I remember the weapon that my buddy had that sold for so much? Yes, I do. The famed Thunder Fury. You guys, I got so deep into World of Warcraft that if I was rich and didn't have to pay bills, I would be playing World of Warcraft. That's all I do. I had so much fun with that game, the camaraderie, finding a task, a raid boss, a raid, beating that raid after 30
All right,
tries,
are we all going to go in? And then
all times, all
Bryan
that stuff.
McClay.
Yeah. So Lord Zero says, I can't sell my World of Warcraft account. I love WoW too much for that. Well, I'm right there with you, brother. We got another thing in common. So this is kind of interesting. Speaking of Rich Johnson, did you guys see this? This is funny.
Is it
we
Heidi Swipe?
We love Heidi over here.
Yeah.
And Rich Johnson's throwing a little can't tell if this is shade or like supposed to be a joke disguised as shade, disguised as a joke. I don't know, but he says, because the Eisner Award went to Heidi McDonald, I'm invading CBR. Because the Eisner Award last year gave Eisner Award for Best Journalist to Heidi McDonald's Comics Beat at San Diego Comic-Con rather than me, I'm going to invade comic book resources. I know that Jonah Weiland started Comic Book Resources decades ago before selling it to the highest bidder, but I landed my boat there too, writing Lying in the Gutters from 2000 to 2009 before going on to found Bleeding Cool at Avatar Press. So I have more rights to it than Valnet or whoever owns it these days. Why do they have a right to ownership anyways? And then he goes on and he talks about being American or being British, this and that. And he says, the world is not secure unless I have complete and total control of comic book resources or get an Eisner, whichever comes first. So there you go.
I think he's doing a Trump parody there.
He is 100%. Yeah. So I love how he throws a little shade.
Yeah,
there.
and you can't tell me, if Dennis won the Eisner Award.
Wow, are we that hypothetical right now?
If Emmet, I was about to say, if Emmet won the Eisner, let's switch that. If Emmet won this Eisner Award, yeah, I'd be happy for him, but I would also say, shit, why didn't I win that? So I think that's human nature, right? And we want to sound kind, and on the flip end, we want to kind of throw a little jab there at the same time. That's a usual thing. So yeah, I think it's great. I think, that field is very small. Yeah. I mean, if you look and you listen, you say, okay, Heidi McDonald, Comics Beat, Rich Johnson, Bleeding Cool.
Yep.
What are we missing here?
ICV2, Bleeding Cool, Comics Beat. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So you only got 3
every
people
third
in this
year
race.
you're going to get one.
Right.
Yeah. My suggestion to Rich is get yourself a cowboy hat and a nice 6-pack of pudding and start eating it at San Diego. You have a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. You guys keep the questions coming. We will answer questions tonight as well as going through our regular stuff. Next question. Have you guys been reading Monsters? Have any of you guys read the story of Monsters?
Most of it. Yeah. I haven't had time to read the last issue that came out. Number 8.
Dennis?
No.
Jesse?
I read the free
I've
comic
read
book day
the
comic, and I
first-
don't
I
have
think we
the.
got up. I'm up at issue 5. I think. I don't think I've got to 6. So
There you go. Next question. When will we see AI grading in CGC or PSA is what I want to know. Am I the only collecting predator that, or am I, and I am only collecting Predator and Alien stuff from Marvel right now, personally. Okay. When will we see AI grading? Never in comics. Well, it might be part of it, but it won't be the only thing grading comics.
Yeah, it will not be the final rubber stamp. So
yeah.
There was a nice story that came out right during COVID. There was a company before Tag that came up with the tools and the algorithm to have AI card grading, and PSA bought them at no point
and killed them
and absorbed them, and we don't know what they're ever going to do with it yet. Then Tag came along. Tag is Emmet's favorite grading company, even though he hates grading and told everybody not to slab anything, but he loves Tag.
Be right back, guys.
That was a little jab at my buddy.
No, I get it. Yeah. Fair.
It's only a matter of time, and you would not shock me if a company like what's the name of the IO rip and ship?
Well, there's Cardly is out now. They say that they can tell you what grade you're going to get before you send the card in.
Right. But I'm saying there's that company that was at New York Comic Con where if you waited in the line, you got a free slab from their computer generated slab machine.
Oh,
yeah. And they do comics and they do cards.
Bryan really likes them.
Yeah, Bryan likes them. But what I'm saying is all it's going to take is for a company like that to go, why are we buying all of these slabs?
We just make our own slabs.
Let's get an AI tool to grade slabs and put them right in
our machine.
What's the name of the company where you buy virtual slabs and you
Courtyard.io?
Courtyard.io.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before a company like that goes, why are we wasting all this money to grade this stuff through PSA or, whoever? We will create our own grading company and we'll put our own, and we will back it with an AI generated tool. And that's the kind of needle mover for the grading companies to start adopting when a giant user of that product and giant successful user of that product decides they are going to go in a different direction, and that'll force the other companies to bring themselves up to that level.
So was the question, will they grade AI comic books or will they use AI to grade?
Use AI to grade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And right now, I don't think PSA or CGC, the
You'd have
two
to scan every page.
leaders,
It would be
right. I don't think either of those companies is going to add that.
If they can build a machine, right, that flips pages, scans, flip pages, scans, if they can do that, that's the key. But it's going to take a lot of money to throw into that. But that's the route, to be honest. That's the route to go.
It's a tedious. Yeah, they could probably grade.
And Swag has a great point. Swag in the chat has a great point. CGC and PSA don't have enough training data, but PSA is in a good position to start building that. And I would agree with them, because if you just gave every PSA scan that has ever been, scanned by them, by a human, and then train your AI based off of that.
The AI should be trained on the mathematics of it. And that's
Yep.
No, I understand.
And I think the biggest thing you have to understand is CGC, PSA, they ain't doing jack. It's going to be some company that's going to create this.
Going to eat their lunch.
Approach CGC.
I don't know. PSA could. PSA's got such a big market share on grading and the big money and the big investors. I could see PSA doing something like that, and
when CGC reaches saturation, which they are close. The reason why they started doing 9/9s and 10s and announcing it, not that you couldn't get one before, but now specifically they were going to be. So that they're reaching a point that they're not grading enough to keep up with that 15% increase that they need every year.
Right.
BlackRock and Vanguard will
spank
dissolve.
your ass if you do not hit those.
Right. So basically, they'll just sell all their stock out, and then like really
and then
dumb
PSA
people
will
will
grab
buy
it
it.
up. Yeah.
No, collectors will buy it. Oh, I want to buy into PSA.
Right. Do you think they would have to use a disclaimer that said AI used in this grading process?
Do you think San Diego will ban them from setting up in their convention?
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex with the $5 super chat. He says, "I think I know the answer, but as all stores buy raw or slabs for the most profit for your store."
Both.
I don't buy any slabs. People call me all the time.
Here's the thing. I buy slabs all the time. It's a known quantity.
Right.
If somebody brings me a PSA 10 Pokemon card that's worth $200, I would rather buy that.
That's comics.
No. Did he say comics only, or did he say slabs?
He says, "I think I know the answer, but as all of you are stores, do you buy raw or slabs for the most profit for your store?"
He didn't say comics in general. So I'm just giving the general answer, which is I will give a higher percent on a highest graded comic book or card slabbed by a legitimate company that I agree with than I would ever with a raw. Case in point, I bought a Mega Charizard. I don't know what the hell it is, but I bought it. If it were a PSA 9 or a 10, it's worth X. Raw, it's worth
less.
Right.
Less.
But here's the simple.
So I'll buy that for sure. But if it was a PSA 9, I'd buy it instantly.
Yeah, but you got to use numbers. What percentage of your sales are graded?
I mean, the last sale of the day yesterday was a $1,500 graded
so the
sale
question is,
for Pokemon.
How much of your sales are graded?
I would probably say half of my 1/3. So probably it's close to 16 to 17% is for graded.
I was gonna say, if you're above 25%, then you need to be selling only graded. Graded books are great if you're buying them from someone and they're already done. Because when you send in books, there's a time frame to get that book, and that time costs you money. So in a retail store, I'm going to tell you, and maybe there's one store out there that 85% is not where they're at in selling raw books. Raw books are books that you can turn, and everything is about turning. Turns give you margin. So when Dennis says, "Hey, I'm paying XYZ," but he's using that one example, by the time he sells that book, he's already sold 85 to 100 raw books. And I think that's more the what the question is asking. So if you're then open up a retail store, you want to bank on 85% raw, 15% graded. And if on that graded, hopefully you're able to buy that from people that have already done the work for you.
Well, and that's the better answer to that is your turns on raw is probably 9 out of 10, a higher turn rate than your slab. And your slab will definitely hold a lot more money unless you slabbed it yourself. So buying the slab, you're going to have to invest more money and sit on it till you make the profit margin you want. Whereas if you're buying raw, you can always turn that raw into a slab and flip it then.
Yeah, but then it's the time.
I know.
You're taking raw at the time, and if it changes on that book in the 9 months, it's at
right. Exactly. And the other thing you got to look at, for every 100 raw books you bring in, what's the percentage of books you would actually grade, which is, again, a very small percentage. So if you're talking about turn rates, sell-throughs, and bottom lines, it's raw straight across the board.
Yeah.
I think if you are a flipper or a store, graded books will make you the most amount of profit.
Right, exactly. If you're an online person, you don't have to worry about rent and insurance and power
If it
bills
is,
and
if it is
and all that
if it
stuff.
is your collection and you're looking for what people tell me all the time on all my videos about grading, they always go, I want the protection. I want the grade. Well, guess what? Those companies don't guarantee that. They
No.
don't guarantee protection.
The
They don't
G
guarantee
in
the grade.
CGC still, even though it says guarantee,
They
does not
guarantee
mean
authentic.
guarantee.
Yeah, they guarantee authenticity only in comic books. That is it. So people can bring me a book that's a 9.8, and I could say I don't think it's a 9.8.
Yep.
Yeah,
and they go, well, CGC says it is. Okay, we saw what what kind of workers they had working there,
right? Exactly.
Making the decisions.
And if you look at e-commerce, I mean, I could probably pull it up right now. What CGC is 1% of eBay sales. It's not even. I think it's 1.2, 1.3%.
Comics or CGC?
CGC graded books is 1.1, 1.2%. Now that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a big percentage of being sold, but that's what you look at.
The other thing is that no one knows what the long-term interior storage of these books will do to the books, encasing them in plastic.
Yeah.
We have to change
I already know.
I
already know those comic books have a shelf life before those pages get more brittle than when they were put in those inner wells.
Yeah.
I don't know what that length of time is, but I've seen a book sealed up in plastic for 50 years and it was not pretty when we unwrapped it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, as a business owner, you need to decide what is best for you.
Yes.
And that's what the final answer is.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Next question. Which artist will have dramatic improvements this year and which artists will basically decline artistically? That's a good question. That's hard to answer. Very hard to answer.
Yeah. I truly believe I just look at Scotty Young, and no matter what he does, it's gold for a store because the demographics, he hits all the demographics. And that's very, very important. So if you say Art Germ, well, Art Germ hits a certain genre, a collector, right? Strong women, bad girls, that type of look, cheesecake. If you go to Mark, Spears, he's hitting a certain demographic. But I think for me, Scotty Young is the guy that will continue to evolve. And it's simple art. So it's not like he's thinking really out of the box, other than telling the story on that cover.
Anybody else?
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're going to get some new artists. I think with DC bringing Vertigo back, I'm hoping they're going to, instead of just using an artist they find some new artists to do something new and exciting, something very different. That's what I'm hoping for. Do I know who it is? No, but I think we'll get, I think Flops is going to have a big year this year.
I think Bryan is on the right track with a lot of that answer. And Bryan, when I watch your Wednesday show or your Saturday show, and you have some of these names that I can only pronounce after you've said them, and no offense, Savina,
Sveta Shabina, Suspiria,
and Suspiria. That's the other one. I can never pronounce either of them, but goddamn, their art is amazing. Okay, and much like when you started having that hillbilly Mark Spears on, and you start learning these names, and as these names start hitting the top 10 list, not just on Ben Stein's show, but on Tom's and Cover Price and all of these, then all of a sudden you start seeing PSA out of nowhere calling Mark Spears Artist of the Year. You see what I'm saying? It takes time. but it also takes pressure. And the pressure that you put on artists by discovering them, flushing them out, bringing them on your shows, bringing them on any format to more than 200 viewers. See the way I just jab in there and I go back to it and I jab and then I come back around is important to the industry because people have to be led to the water sometimes. And if all we do is see Frank Miller shit out another cover, and God love him, he is on the Mount Rushmore of comics to me. But at a certain point, you got to take the pin away, or they'll ruin their legacy. And for every one of these 1 in 100 Frank Millers that looks like dog shit, I just look back at Dark Knight Returns and go, yeah, but he gave us that. But for every one of those, there's a Mark Spears, there's a Savita, there's, you know, all of these, I can't even say a name, man, Superior. You know what I'm saying? That's the pressure that this format allows us to lift up and push forward out into the industry.
Hopefully the companies will start letting these artists breathe a little bit more.
Yes.
So that's my biggest thing about
them.
my biggest thing about 2026 is I think there's this thing that Marvel and DC does where I know Marvel does it. Unless you're a quote unquote Marvel approved artist, you can't do covers or work for Marvel. And that's stupid. Like, especially when you have a retailer exclusive variant program where that has helped put a spotlight on a lot of these new up and coming artists. Two names that I'll give for this year. Obviously, we already know most of the names that I've talked about over the last couple of years, but two names that I'll give right now that I think are going to have the biggest like coming out year. All right. And that is Flops. We've said it multiple times. I think Flops is going to have an amazing year this year. Yeah. Like his coming out year. I think there's going to be a point where he does something. Is he the one
that I bought those variants at New York from?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I love his work.
There's going to be a point or a moment or a cover where like everybody goes like, holy shit, who's this guy? And it's going to be, you know, a DC book or hopefully a Marvel book or an Image book, something like that. I think Suspiria and Sveta are already there. Obviously, Mark's already there. Obviously, Lobos is already there. Maria Wolf's already there. But this one guy, he's kind of reminds me a little bit of Mark in that he's able to put out work quickly. And I love watercolor, and that's Ito. Ito is going to have a massive year because of two things. One, he's an amazing artist, and he can put out work faster. So he's going to put out so many covers, but he's got to walk a fine line of putting out covers and too much saturation, right? We talk about it with Mark all the time.
And for the right books.
Well,
the right books,
and
the right retailers,
the double edge of that sword is somebody who's capable of putting out that much work is going to attract all of the haters that can't put out that much work, and they're going to get twice as accused of using AI in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you got that, but I will tell you the one that masters social marketing will also be ahead of the game. If social marketing, I think, puts people in, and even if you're not buying the product, it's pumping that name nonstop. And I think those are the people that will be successful in 2026, actually beyond 2027, that understand they need to come on talk shows. They need to be doing Instagram clips and showing their art. That's who is going to be the most successful. I don't think you can be successful in this industry if you're just drawing and putting out stuff. I think you have to have some social awareness in your marketing of your brand.
Yeah. All right, next question. Another one from Toy Time. He says, what will be the biggest improvement in the industry in 2026?
I got one answer.
I already know what you're going to say. I think I know what you're going to say.
No,
Go
say
ahead.
it then. Say it.
You're going to say Universal, right?
God damn you, Jesse. Get out of my
Yep.
fucking brain.
Yeah, but you can go ahead. You can go first.
Okay, so you don't know what you got until it's gone. Play that music in the clip. Diamond was an abusive, alcoholic spouse, but they were the father of our children, and
They didn't diddle your kids.
And they didn't diddle the kids.
I love where this is going.
And yeah, this is going to be clip material right here. Then they got killed in that horrible car accident, and you were like, oh, thank God, they're not going to abuse us anymore. They're not going to kick our boxes. They're not going to. And then we had to do FOC by 5 different distributors. And then we had to get blind bags shoved in a box, spilling over. And then we had to get, a 35% discount to reorder books, because the real game is putting it over in your deep discount online store.
Yep.
Universal is going to change that. And we're going to have another chance to remarry and get one person to do all of our work with us and to be an actual partner with us. And I think that is why Universal is going to be the biggest change in 2026.
For those of you guys that don't understand what he's talking about with Universal, Universal is another distributor that is playing in the distribution game with Lunar and Penguin Random House. And
they're the people that bought Alliance.
Yep. Alliance
So
Gaming.
if-
Alliance Games.
Yeah, Alliance Gaming. So
Yeah.
if you are a dealer that also does Pokemon and Magic, you can buy your DC Comics, your Pokemon, your Magic. If you
And
want
probably your Marvel.
sports cards.
Eventually your Marvel, I think, is going to happen.
Here's what I think one of the most important things that Universal can do, and that is champion Free Comic Book Day in a major way.
Yep.
To make it important again. And hey, Universal, we want to talk to you guys about Free Comic Book Day. I know Dennis, you've had conversations with them about coming on the show. I've got an email out to them about coming on for Free Comic Book Day. I want to hear from Universal, and I want to specifically talk about Free Comic Book Day and about what their plans are for it in the long term, not just 2026, but moving forward. And here's the biggest thing for Universal. If they're willing to take constructive criticism and listen to new ideas, that's the game changer, because the comic book game is not the same as it was in the 80s and the 90s. That was a different world, and it's changed so much that if you're willing to listen, to that new world, the opportunity is huge.
Right.
Well, look,
And-
even
and-
if we ended up with the same amount of stores as we had in the 90s, let's say it becomes a thing and everybody starts opening stores again, we have 20,000 stores, it still won't be the same as the 80s. It won't be the same as the 90s. It's changed forever, and it's just everybody has to move forward. Now, certain things, like people are always telling me, I don't move forward because I don't grade. Grading is not the comic industry. That's an arbitrary company outside of the comic industry trying to reap benefits and cash out of the comic industry. That $25 you spend to grade a book can't be spent on a comic.
Right.
So the comic, you're mad that the comics are $5.99, but to give somebody a plastic box to put it in, you'll give them $25 fucking dollars. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I truly believe Universal is one of the moments for 2026 in the industry. I believe the expansion of platforms that allow comic book stores to be engaged more. It allows comic book stores to be engaged more in live streaming, bin sales, social awareness, QR codes, all these things that can bring you more sales. The notion that you can just have a Square tool in your pocket and sell anywhere in the world, and sell your brand. I think that's the big extension. And I think that also deals with all the publishers as well. I'm okay with publishers doing Kickstarters and doing whatever they're going to do as long as they're taking care of my needs. So if they're selling more comics, that means more consumers. So I think the expansion of platforms is tremendous. The one thing I want everybody to understand is, you're talking about the 80s and 90s. The industry changed in 2016. When live streaming became available, that changed the whole industry as a whole. And I think so. Going back,
can I disagree with you for a second, Jesse?
Sure, go ahead.
I think the start of the change was 2016, but the actual change didn't happen till COVID.
Right.
That was the reason.
Right.
The reason that the change was perfect to implement was COVID.
There you go. Yep. I agree with that.
Oh my God! Look,
Well,
right there. Clip that.
I think the change was happening, and it just COVID sped it up.
Well, I don't think it sped it up. I think it was a necessity.
It was
to maintain your business in a platform that wasn't tangible, a tangible store. Yeah. It was an intangible that could sell anywhere in a moment's time, and I think that was very important. And that's a big pivoting point for consumers and for the seller.
Brian, can we do Eric Hurd's question next?
Yeah, let's see here. Where's his question? He's got
the new stock or newsprint.
Let me find this. Okay.
Card stock.
Do you think at some point in time a publisher will go with cardstock cover but have newsprint interiors to have a better price point?
You got this, Dennis, or you want me to go?
Well, you go first because I have an interesting perspective on this.
So it sounds easy and it sounds cheaper. It actually costs more. They won't be able to print newsprint at the mass quantity because you have to have everybody do it.
You're wrong on that. You're wrong on that.
I don't think so.
Okay, Jesse, I want you to walk into a mall or a huge, I know your area has them, and I know Detroit has them, and I'm sure Emmet has like 15 different ones. You walk into every one of these stores that has a local regional magazine that is all newsprint. It's free. Take one. Auto Trader.
Yeah.
Auto
so
Trader.
All at the grocery stores. Retail, realty.
Yeah.
All the realtors, all the houses in the area, that's newsprint. So it's out there.
I produced a newsprint comic.
Right. It is much more expensive.
No, it's actually cheaper. I produced a newsprint comic book for a local guy, and it was pennies to produce that. I mean, pennies to produce that comic.
What was it? 2 pages?
No, it was like 20 page. It was 20 page cut quarter, blah, blah, blah. And we used
Small?
their format. It was slightly smaller than a regular comic. The technology is out there. Okay. And if you get the right company, you can make newsprint. And I think one of their immediate replies was is it Alterna Comics? Peter Zametti?
Alterna, which no longer does comics.
No, but it wasn't because he couldn't make that price point.
No,
it was because he did not get saturation. Nah. He was always separated from him. No,
but they were on the show together.
No, I understand that, but that didn't kill his comic book company.
I think this is let us find out and get back to you folks on the next show.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I think it's a very good question, but I think your example, I think what I would want to know is the circa on the papers you're talking about.
Peter Zametti had a distribution problem, and that was the problem, that he could not do that at the scale he needed to continue doing that.
Right, because you got to do XYZ to get the price
exactly
down. Right.
Yeah.
But Marvel could do that to scale.
The sheets. He was going into all the sheets, and they were.
And he didn't have a content that captivated people to read a continuing series.
Talking trees, come on.
But let me my point is, if you can produce 1 million auto traders and do that regionally, you can produce 1 million X-Men comics with newsprint on the inside, cardstock on the outside, have it in stores for $2. But those beautiful people at Comics Pro, they don't want a $2 comic.
They don't want us to make comics for kids either.
They don't want to make comics for kids. But as part of a bigger system, I think newsprint is the way to save comic books. If you can get a price point of $1 to $2 as an entry level, and then you collect that and put it in a slightly slicker softcover edition, and then you get to the point where you've got 12 of those books and you put it in a hardcover edition, I think there's a business model. As you get slicker pages and color in the trade paperback and hardcover level, you have a continuing scale of every price point. That's how you get comic books back into 7-Eleven. That's how you get comic books back into grocery stores and Walmarts. And I think that's a distribution model that if I were in charge of Marvel tomorrow, I would do that.
So not better stories.
Well, I mean, you've got it. But here's the thing.
It's all about the stories. Yeah. Listen, everybody complains about the price of comics. People pay it. People who are comic people pay it.
Yeah.
The people who complain about it all the time do not really buy comics.
The Dollar Tree model was so good that they ended up in sheets for $3 and $4. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't think that you have to have good stories, because we've already got great stories from the last 50 years. That you could take a comic book series and do it in that cheap format to get comics in the hands of kids at an entry level and keep building on them. I think that's the way to do it. You do a Marvel Tales level reprint series at $1 at 7-Eleven to get them to come in and buy the $5 comics that are.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting a new generation to connect with a book written 40 years ago.
I think here's the thing, man. You're not selling digital cameras to kids. I'm selling cassette tapes. I sold 5 cassette tapes to an 18-year-old
totally different media.
Girl.
Totally different media.
But because they bought a $20 cassette player on Temu, they're buying $40 worth of cassettes from me today.
Right. Music is timeless.
Comics are timeless.
For us old men.
No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
That's why they write new stories all the time, because times change. The fashion changes in comics. You give a kid a book that was written 40 years ago, and you just reprint it for them, they're going to go, "What are these people wearing?
No,
how come all the men are wearing suits?"
Because fashion is cyclic. And if you pick the right,
okay, when was the last time men went out in suits and always wore hats, real hats, fedoras? When was that last time? When did that come back around?
Yeah, but that gives you the last 30 years.
Comes back around,
right?
That gives you the last 30 years.
Yeah,
You're telling me if you released, if you released the J. Scott Campbell Spider-Man Shadow Number books that went through the 600s, Mary Jane doesn't look like every girl on Instagram right now from 20 years ago.
Well, I'm not a J. Scott Campbell fan. Women don't look like that, even on Instagram.
Right. So the answer is, can paper be used in comics? Absolutely. In my opinion, it's not cost effective. I understand what Dennis is saying, but I also don't want to be selling dollar books and $1.99 books as new issues, because my profit margins would suck. And so it's also, we need those margins to be higher, not lower.
Right. So if it's a $2 book, I'm only making $1 if I get 50% off. If I don't get 50% off,
right,
I'm making less than $1 a comic. At $6, there's less volume needed.
Yeah, you just guys sell 10,000 to pay your power bill. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Which my power bill was ridiculous this month.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Oh yeah.
All right, next question.
Sean says, would you open a comic shop today?
1,000%.
I'm going to open 2 more in the next 2 years. So if that answers your question.
Yeah. I'm going to at least open 1 more.
I'm sorry. I'm going to open 2 more antique stores that are fake comic shops.
Yep. That is good. So my answer is you're crazy if you're going to open up a comic shop. Now, if you want to open up a comic shop or a comic shop that sells other collectibles, absolutely. But if you intend to just open up a comic book shop, your percentage of success, unless you're on every platform selling nonstop, is very, very small. So you got to diversify your inventory based on your customer base, based on your demographics in the shopping center that you're in, or in Dennis's case, the mall.
Have the best coffee in town.
Right, exactly. And so the answer is yes, if you're going to diversify, and you got to be willing to do that. Not a lot of people are willing to do what me and Dennis does, where we have 30 genres in our store. Not everybody is capable of doing that.
What do you mean genres?
So
different types.
Different types.
I boiled it down to the 6 best selling.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean though?
Music.
Like different types
Vinyl.
of items?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
SKUs, maybe different SKUs.
So
I would say
vinyl,
different
comics, toys, shirts.
Video
exactly.
games.
Exactly. And you got to figure out if you're going to be modern, vintage, and new product as well. So the answer, I think, to most people is yes. You got to keep in mind, our success rate in the comic book world sucks. How many people come in and open up a comic book store and survive past 3 years is very, very small.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hell, the 5th most influential YouTuber in comics is a failed comic shop owner that used to work for publishers, and now he's, a marketing genius.
Yeah.
Zing.
Boom, 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 boom. Body blow.
So the answer is, did you ask that question because you want to open up a comic book store? Then do your research and understand, you have to have a budget to do this that needs to last you the first year.
Yeah.
If you don't make a penny.
Yeah.
So
and the other thing is
this guy
no matter
here,
what business you're in, be good at business.
Yes.
Right. We love comics, but we're good at business. So,
and that's our umbrella.
Right.
But God, I can never point on this shit. That guy right there is just launching his new series of how to open a comic shop. It's not, and I like the way you preface it. It's not about the nuts and bolts of what to order. It's about the entirety of what you have to do. I did a series on YouTube, how to open a comic shop for $20K. I set my limit for $20K on my new store. You have to go in it with the right mentality. If you're going to open what we used to call a diamond catalog store, you are way fraught with way more peril, and you are going to fail like probably so many before you.
Yep.
Yeah.
From the one guy who is not a comic shop owner on this panel, if I had the ability to open a comic shop, would I? No. Nope. Not even the slightest would I even think about it. I'd rather not pay the extra lease money, the extra electrical money, all the time and money and effort setting it up and stuff. I'd rather just live sell.
What if you could?
Those collections don't come your way.
Right. What if you could open up the store at 4 p.m.?
What do you mean those collections don't come my way? Rage Theo doesn't have a comic shop, and he's getting collections constantly.
Who's that?
Rage Theo. How many? Put ones in the chat if you know who Rage Theo is. Just a one in the chat if you know.
Oh, Rage Theo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he chases them, dude. He spends easily
probably way more time than me when I just opened my door.
Yeah, literally, Brian. You look at all of his content. His content is, hey, I saw this on Facebook and it's a total scam. Hey, I looked at this comic collection in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's
Rage Theo,
Journo.
is it?
That's not Rage
Oh,
Theo.
okay. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
mixing up sorry. I apologize. But I think there's I don't know Rage Theo. I've seen him. I mixed him up with
no
Journo.
idea.
I apologize. But a lot of those guys spend so much of their time looking for the collection and tracing down the collection and trying to get the collection. Whereas these three guys right here, like Emmet said, I opened my door and I got 5 phone calls on a collection come in. I haven't chased a comic collection or any kind of collection.
I don't think Rage Theo chases
years.
comic collections now. I don't think he's been chasing comic collections for probably
Let's get him on the show and find out.
At least a year. I talk to him all the time. He has people
ask him.
constantly reaching out to him, asking if he wants to buy collections all over the country.
That's the beauty of content
creation.
And do you guys know who Justice Curry is?
No, but it sounds familiar.
He's a giant in the toy space on Facebook. And he does Facebook selling of toy collections. But he's also up there with I can't remember his name, but the big tall goony guy who collects He-Man. And if anybody in the chat knows what I'm talking about, say it. There's a whole toy YouTube sphere. That Federation Toys. People contact them from across the country. We have a local guy, Sergeant Reds.
Yeah.
People see his content and they contact him from miles away. They drive past all of our stores to do that. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'll also say that that Economics and Comics said the only reason is the collections. No.
Yeah.
No, I really love comic people.
Yeah.
I like to come in and talk stories about the different things.
It's
I love
just
the
the
interaction.
benefit. One of the biggest
When
benefits.
when I opened my store in my city that I live in, which is only 3 blocks from my house, I was the first store in a rundown downtown. I was the first one to take a chance on it. And we got 60 people standing out front. And everybody was like, where did these people come from? And then they're eating at the pizzeria and they're eating at the burger joint. And more people start coming downtown. And then a coffee shop opens up. And then a brewery opens up. And if you love your little city and your town and you want to be a member of it, what better way than to have your comic shop be the center focus?
Yeah, that's true. I will tell you our jobs as a whole, and I understand what Emmet said, I understand what Dennis said, I understand what Bryan says. In general, our job description is to sell books. You can't sell books unless you're buying books. So and I forgot who just said this, but the notion is to open up a store, you need to buy books to sell books. And so I think that's a common knowledge thing, that's common sense. But when you add the attributes of being part of the community, being able to see the kid who was 8 years old, now has his driver's license, who now just got his first job, who's now going to the military. There's a lot of good things that come with a store owner if you want that responsibility beyond the sell itself.
My partner was one of my first customers when I opened up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He bought in 2 years ago.
Shout out to Alex with the $5 super chat. He says, honest question. Have you created your savings retirement based off of owning comic book stores?
No, I worked a shitty job for 27 years.
Wait, I misunderstood the question. What was the question?
Have you created your savings retirement based off of owning a comic book shop?
No. Mine came off a previous job that I was with for a very long time. Very long time. Every once in a while, I wish I had that job so I could say a paycheck. What the hell is this? I'd love to look at a paycheck that said taxes XYZ every 2 weeks. That would be freaking awesome.
So the easiest question is 2 years ago, I realized that, sure, I have this, that, and the other thing, but I'm going to need a bigger strategy to do that. So last year I put that into effect. Mostly it's diversification. I own buildings. I own gold. I own silver. I own crypto. I own
Pennies.
a giant, and pennies.
Yeah.
I own a giant warehouse full of crap, and I started 3 stores that have shown the profit margins that they are, and they are sellable. Over the next 4 years, I plan to sell and bank most of that, and that is the retirement plan that I've put in place. And if I die before that 4 years is over, I played the game right, because I didn't sink all my money into a 401k.
Yeah.
There you go.
But can I ask another question off of that question, though, to the panel?
Yeah.
Do you expect to have the last day on this earth be in a store buying and selling stuff?
My
Oh, I
last
hope.
day on Earth. No,
I
I will be at Buc-ee's. That is my game plan. My job at the end of this, I would say in probably 3 years, is to be working at Buc-ee's part-time. I want to have fun, and I can have that fun having the comic book store and all that, but I think at the end of the day, having that fun without having to pay mortgage or rent and power bills and employees, and just letting other people do that in the end.
Yeah. I want to move over to, I want to get it to a point where it can fund the creative stuff I want to do. So 2, 3, 4 stores, whatever it takes, and then have just come in to do buys or some bigger collections when they need me. Pass it off to the partners, still collect some money, and then make movies, comics, so forth.
I plan on working my entire life, so.
Yeah. Well, the point I was trying to get at is, even when, and like I said, I plan on doing this over the next 4 years, even when I sell everything in Michigan and decide to go down to Daytona Beach with the formula that I've created, and I'm pretty sure it'll still be active then, I will probably have a collectible store that I pop into 30 minutes to an hour a day just to do what I was born to do, and then go sit on the beach and drink margaritas until I die.
Let's see here. Next, do you guys consider the upcoming Overstreet price guide completely worthless due to its lateness?
No. So I think at the end of the day, keep in mind on Overstreet, they haven't even sent us our questionnaires. So I don't even think it's going to get out this year.
Who owns it? Does Jeppy still own that? Because he owns Gem Publishing?
No.
It got sold off.
Yeah, Overstreet is owned by someone else. Everybody that was on Overstreet is still in those positions. So Mark and all the Vaughn are still there. But if we haven't got our questionnaires and normally we get those in September so that we can get them to ready for December 15th.
They still own Gemstone.
No, it was, I don't think so.
Although Diamond Comic Distributors was sold in 2025, Gemstone Publishing was excluded from the sale and remained associated with Jeppy.
Now, let me see if I can get you the...
Which they still may have sold off just the price guide.
I'll answer KA's question real quick while you guys are...
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Before we jumped into another question, I wanna.
Okay.
Yeah, that way we aren't all over the place.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you guys think that even without it being whoever owns it, I think Overstreet isn't even necessary. Like, it's not. There's no reason
your question,
for it.
Brian? The only reason is I own what issue was the last one? 52. Overstreet 52, Jesse.
50. It's either 52 or 53.
Okay. Out of the 53 Overstreets, I own 51 of them, and I own them 2 in hardcover and mostly softcover going back. I will still buy Overstreet every year, at least 2 copies of them. One of each cover. I haven't cracked the last 3 Overstreets because I have a thing called eBay and I have a thing called Key Collector.
You have a phone, yeah. There's so many better things than Overstreet is.
So
and
I own them,
Overstreet
I buy them.
Is way out. Like their prices are ridiculous. If you go into a comic store and the owner pulls out an Overstreet to price your stuff, buy everything in his store.
Yep.
$50 for the 50. It's on issue 54. So the question is it still going to be relevant? It might not be relevant to the 3 of you, but it is relevant to a core of people that still use it. Again, I had said about AI art, as long as people are paying that price, they'll continue to make it. The advertising money they make on that book is ridiculous, right? And those people that continue to pay $1,500 to $2,500 for a full page, apparently it's paying off for them. So that means consumers are using them. Now, could Overstreet go full digital? And they had plans to do that? Absolutely. But I think the price guide will continue to be produced.
Overstreet access is not.
Well, exactly. No, I wouldn't even use it right now. Yeah. So I would say it's still going to be relevant to a small portion of buyers. And until those buyers pass away, they'll continue to make it. Mm-hmm. They're not bringing in new consumers. Let's put it
and the last 3 or 4 issues have sold out within a very short period of time release. So they know exactly how many they need to produce.
I have 3 people that have asked me every single day, when is the new Overstreet coming out?
Yep.
I said, I don't know, if ever.
But to make a beleaguered point, they will make it, people will buy it, and no one will use it for the intended purpose.
Right, exactly. Listen, when I started in 1982 selling at a comic book store, that was our only source.
It was the Bible. It was the Bible.
You could not get that. And the great thing about back in 1982, I could actually read it without putting on glasses and magnifying glasses. So nowadays it's like, what?
It's the only book aimed at 50-year-old and plus that isn't available in large reader size.
It's also got very good grading in the front. How to grade a book is very good.
Yeah.
All right. KA
but
says,
I haven't opened my last 3. So what are you going to do?
KA says, can I buy comics and trading card game stuff with gold and silver at your guys' stores?
Absolutely. I don't sell gold and silver in my store.
Yep.
If I sold every type of payment.
Yeah, I take Bitcoin.
Oh, wait. I thought he was saying, go back and put the question up again, Brian. I misread it.
Can I buy comics and TCG stuff with gold and or silver?
Oh, yeah. I always tell people, while I'm jokingly telling them, I take gold, silver, crypto, firstborn children, and
your mama.
I forget.
Blood type. What's your blood type?
Here's another one. How many books as a store do you get graded a month?
Everybody knows my number.
Yeah. Listen, I buy about 200 graded books a month, which is enough for us not to have to send books out to get graded. That's my answer. Dennis, I know you do grading, so this question
I do.
You.
Yeah. I buy less than 50 graded comic books a year. And it's usually a collection of 10 when I do it. So figure 5 collections and maybe a couple onesies and twosies. I probably buy close to 100 or more graded TCG cards a year. I send off to get graded close to 500 items a year. So the answer is 650 a year, split a different couple ways.
Yeah.
However, I sell, like I said to Jesse, I sell probably 80% or more of raw items in my store.
Yep. And you got to figure everything you send in November, you're not getting to next year. So it's kind of, that's the challenge.
To me, it's a marathon, not a race. And I don't care if I buy it today and, I send it off and it maybe goes down. It's going to even out with the thing that went up.
All
10
right,
times.
Usain Bolt.
Next question. I personally believe live sales are destroying prices on the under $100 raw market. Do you agree?
Could you read that one more time?
Yeah. This is from Three Rivers. I personally believe live sales are destroying prices on the under $100 books raw market. So any books under $100 raw.
Can I take first on this?
Yeah.
They probably should. If you just watch Swag's recent video, is it rare? And the guy, once again, there are no rare comics, and then Jesse's posted things before, and the books that are $100 that were evergreen $100 books start to lower in price as more and more people have 5 or 10 or 20 come out of the woodwork, and that 100 shrinks down to a $50 book, because not only are they flooding stores, but they're flooding live sell and they're flooding eBay. And this is a market adjustment, and live selling is literally just part of that market adjustment, in my opinion. You're seeing it in more places and those prices are dropping.
Yeah, again, I always talk about turn rates and sell-throughs. We're also seeing those books sold in the thousands, not 100. Yeah. And so as you sell more books, obviously the price is going to come down. And that's just a supply and demand issue. Live streaming has benefited comic book sellers across the world. To try to find a negative to it is very challenging unless you're a show that starts everything off at $1. Yeah. Everybody knows my theory. I start everything off at what I want.
Yep.
If I want $20, it's starting off at $20. I sell 300 to 400 books a show. I don't have an issue selling books. So I think at the end of the day, I don't think it's doing anything other than getting more books in people's hands, spending more money, and as a whole, and if you take all the sales combined, it's still selling more than it would have sold being at $105.
Yeah. And the thing is that it will go up and down through supply and demand, but it also goes up every time there's a natural disaster. Comic collections get completely wiped out.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
In Japan, I was talking to a couple of my old school American Japanese dealers. And after the tsunami, the amount of giant collections disappeared. And that affected the market because those guys who had those giant collections of some of the greatest things that we'll never see again stopped buying. So that actually supply literally washed out to sea, and then demand also came down to the point where it had a market adjustment. And I do believe that also happens in comics.
I don't know if it's necessarily ruining the prices of it. I think that you have to be smart. Depending on the platform you're selling it, all the platforms are different. You can't go into a live sale. Most of us can't just start up a live sale and expect to get fair market value for the books you're putting up. Here's the reason why. Because there aren't enough eyes on that live sale. There's usually only, 10 or less people.
If you have 20, you're crushing it at 20.
You have to have a lot of eyes on that to get, fair market value. So
and a quarter of the people are being entertained. They're not even coming to buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they're waiting for a prize if that's what happens.
Right. And I've said this. Right. I've said this, and I will always say this. If I have 100 people in the room, that means I'm selling to 10. 10. I'm selling to 10 people. And at the end of the day, that's what it works out to. But if you're entertaining people and you're creating buzz, those people will bid, even though they have a special their limits that engages the 10 buyers to actually bid more and buy for more. And that's very important. My best buyer last week was crushed because we had 3 big spenders come in, and he literally emailed me and said, I didn't win anything. This is crazy. Right. And so I think at the end of the day, I think live streaming and buy it nows are 2 different components, and your best job is to do both and not have to only do one.
Right.
Yep.
Stay flexible.
All right.
Dennis would say,
next,
be like water.
Are retailers are retailer exclusives finally dead? No.
Oh, I wish.
No.
You guys want to go first? What?
My answer is no. Yeah.
I wish. I think that they'll continue on, and there'll be a lot of failures. Probably the number one reason for comic shops going out of business today. Multiple failures on exclusives. Putting all your eggs in that basket.
I think as the number of people increased that put their entire business model in the exclusive game, we are going to see a reduction of that from not only the amount of books that a lot of those guys do in a year, but also wait till you get the right artist to do the variant for you.
If
and
they
to
did
keep
one
it
a
in-house.
quarter, if they did one a quarter, really good one once a quarter for a year, right?
Dude,
then if you missed 1 or 2, it wouldn't end your business. These
and I won't mention
4 a week.
Yeah, and I won't mention who they are, but I think we all are friends with people who have a different drop every week. And I think at a certain point, they're robbing Peter to pay Paul to make the variant for Mary.
Yeah,
and then eventually that Piper comes calling when all of the people who have propped them up with pre-orders.
Diamond's not there to do it anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Here's the honest truth about exclusives. And I'm going to use the word exclusives. We are doing more exclusives than we've ever done in history. And here's why, because we're not counting the publishers doing their own exclusives now and the artists doing their own exclusives. So we haven't seen less. We've actually seen more, but coming more direct from the people that probably should be doing exclusives.
Right. And if you think as one of these variant producing retailers that you're going to get the best art when the artist himself can do a variant, you're fooling yourself, because he might look at the really great piece he did for you and go, man, I bet you I could call this publisher up and I could do one myself. And I'll put twice the effort into the one that more than I just did. And then you're competing with the guy, not his fans.
Yeah, exactly. So you're cutting out the middleman. So again, in our peak, when everybody was doing exclusives, we're at that peak with just different players in the field that have better control, better price points, better shipping methods, right? The issue was at the beginning that, well, if I do an exclusive as an artist, I don't know how to ship. And then people like myself came in and said, Stan Sakai, do as many as you want. We'll do all your shipping for you. Right. And I think that's where we're at now.
Yeah, there's got to be there's a different relationship between retailers and the creators now, because creators can be their own retailers. They don't need retailers to sell their books necessarily. So there's got to be a new thing. The retailers have to pivot. They have to do fulfillment for artists. They have to do websites for artists, that type of stuff.
And there's only so many of those that can go around.
Yeah. I think the exclusive variant game has changed drastically. You don't have as many being done where retailers are going out and just doing every Marvel variant like Unknown was doing. Like every Marvel variant. Yep, we're doing it.
Yep.
I don't think that's happening. I think they're being more they're being picky on choosing what they're doing, and they're being smart about it. At least most of the big guys, because they've been bit. They've been bit by that snake before, you know. And I think that's the key is you have to again, just like you sell certain things on certain platforms, exclusive variants are done for certain things. I think if you keep the print count low on them, and you don't flood the market with them every month, I think you can do pretty decent on them.
I will say this, and I'm only saying it as a tongue-in-cheek statement. There will be a Do You Poo variant on Whatnot every month for the next year, and that will not stop in 2027 either. There are markets that game will always be available for, and that's my opinion. And I'm not saying that as a negative. I love Murat Michaels. I think what he's done with that concept, it can go forever, but he also has to be a game warden and not poach too many things.
Yeah, I think and the other thing, I think he needs to put like 1% per Do You Poo exclusive aside and buy better Wi-Fi. I think that's going to take him to the next.
Okay, back to the first question.
Yeah.
That's who needs to blow somebody for better Wi-Fi.
Yep.
When are we going to start sending off slabs to get the plastic quality graded? When are we going to start?
That's my joke. That's been my joke for 10 years.
Okay.
When are we going to start grading
the slab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hi, Nathan says Sveta without Massive wouldn't be where she's. Are you crazy? What? I think Sveta Massive wouldn't be where they're at without Sveta.
There you go.
Yeah. And by the way, I love you. Hi, Nathan. That's no shade on you, brother. Okay, next question. I have to ask Dennis, how do you feel about grading manga?
Easy question. I think there are definitely what's Vinny? What's Vinny's last name?
Vinny Kumar?
Vinny Kumar. Vinny Kumar, I think, has the best approach at that. Slab anything that is a first appearance in its original form. I think grading a standard manga released in the US that was already printed in Japan 20 years ago is a dumb idea. I slabbed 5 mangas just to try Beckett's CBCS manga. And I'm like, I want to get a Lum because I've always liked Lum, and I want to get a Dragon Ball, and I want to get that's great. And if the Dragon Ball voice actors are out of place and you need something to sign and you can't find the very impossible Viz Media comic book to slab, and that's your game. I mean, I had the voice actor, the American voice actor for One Punch Man, signed that really rare free comic book day One Punch Man comic. There's all kinds of caveats, but just randomly slabbing the first American appearance in a manga of a book that already exists in Japan 20 years prior is a dumb idea, because the market is the people who respect the original Japanese form.
There you go.
It would be like slabbing a $1 Marvel $1 reprint book.
Here's my question. Do these kids just collect the mangas, or do they actually read them? Because every collection I've ever gotten, there's not a crease in the. They're not broke at all. They're like all brand new. No dog ears, no rounded corner. They are mint. Or is it just a thing to be part of the crowd? Oh, I got the.
I think there's just like in comic books, there are 3 giant camps of manga collectors. There are the ones that crack them open, read them, love them, want to burn through them. I've got lots of those customers at both of my stores, and there are the ones that have to have. It's kind of an OCD thing. Manga is horribly awesome in the fact that they have a giant number on the side of their books, all of them, that you have to have. And if there's one number missing and it's low print run, you will pay $100 for that. If you ever look up Gans on eBay, and you'll see there are $100 issues of Gans mangas. With that being said, the third type is the person who just wants to come in and say, I bought a manga. And I think that's the same market that I'm cultivating with comic books, is the same market where I don't care what the manga is. I've sold manga. I'm like, oh, have you heard about this? No, I just like the cover and I think I want to read it. Okay. Yeah. So it's an entire third. And that's my business model, where I don't have to have the top 100 performing mangas with 100 volumes of each one of those. I just buy any manga, and it serves a purpose to one of those three audiences.
Okay.
Next, Brian, are you going to Swornfest? I am going to Swornfest 2026 in 9 days, 12 hours, 28 minutes, and 40 seconds. I'll be going with Big Leg is coming to town, Big Leg and Katie. So I'll be meeting up with them, and Billy from Economics and Comics. So
are you resting up your liver?
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, Brian Polito is going to be on the show tomorrow night to talk about Swornfest. So come hang out with us tomorrow.
What are we, chop liver?
I asked him, I said, when do you want to come on? He said, I can come on Wednesday. I said, okay.
Oh, he needs those extra 200 viewers that you get on Wednesday that aren't here tonight.
Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Is that 3 or 4?
5. That's 5.
5, right?
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
200s. That's awesome.
Next question. What's the beef
200.
with Mint Hunter? I don't know that there is a beef with Mint Hunter. I don't know.
Do I know who Mint Hunter is?
I don't know who Mint Hunter is. So Mint
He's,
Hunter.
that guy I do know. He's like a really mellow dude who has a YouTube channel, and he talks about buying books and selling books and what he thinks is like the top 25, and then he has all kinds of different lists. He does, just a creator. He has a good number of followers.
So Emmet likes him. Emmet likes him. Brian has no idea, and I don't know.
Well, I don't
have a beef.
Him. I just, I don't have a beef with him.
Well, he looks like he just had a medical issue, so I hope he's doing good.
Yeah,
I don't know Mint Hunter, so
content creators, yep.
But I'll give him a follow. You got to follow
There
Mint
you go.
Hunter. There you
He's
go.
Right there.
I'll see if I follow him. Actually,
I think he's a cherry picker from the few. I don't know if he's changed, but from few of the things, his buying stuff seemed like he was cherry picking collections. So, which is frowned upon by some people.
Tony says Mint Hunter is the most real content creator. What does that mean, real?
Have you watched me before, Tony?
We're not AI up here, buddy.
Yeah, no, we're real.
Look, I've been called fake by way more important 200
Is it because
viewers than you.
He talks about his life, like his kids and himself, and that he had surgery. I don't know what that means. That he's a real content creator.
All right, we're giving him way
He makes
too much
content.
time. Next question.
Next question.
Yeah. Next question.
Oh, Sky says the only reason I said that, I thought the antique store comment was about him. No.
No.
He has a shop in an antique mall. Oh, okay. Okay, next question. Will comic books be the last form of physical media standing?
No, books are coming back in a really big way.
Yep. And I think
small bookstores opening up everywhere.
Physical music media has exploded in the last 5 years.
If you're under 30 years old and have no analog music, go fucking listen to some. You
Well, and
won't. The music won't be the same. You listen to your favorite band on analog, you may not be your favorite band anymore, or you'll be, oh my God, I've never listened to this before.
all right.
It is a totally different experience.
I hooked up an Onkyo receiver to two, what were they? Panasonic 200-watt speakers, and then hooked up a CD player just to test it. And I literally shook the walls of the mall.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what you want to look at.
And I wasn't even at 11.
Yeah. There you go. I think what you want to look at is, I think the misconception is someone walks into a boutique store like mine, oh my gosh, Dennis, what do you call your store?
Hippie
Cosmic
record
Pop.
shop. Hippie record shop.
No. Hippie record shop. Yeah, hippie record shop. I think the notion is people come in, they buy their comics and leave. No, they're walking up to the counter with comics, records, shirts. It's not like you're walking in just to a comic book store. So when you're walking out with a whole bunch of cool stuff, I think that's the notion that everything is actually hot right now if you're trying to sell it. Because it doesn't matter if it's hot down the street. It matters if it's hot in your store.
I want to address that, Jesse. So this is a little history lesson on me. I was a toy dealer, specifically just vintage toys and some new toys. Then I made the front page of the Wall Street Journal 30 years ago this year as the toy scalper. By then I'd already moved on, and I read comics through all of it. I had my comic collection, and then my son was born, and I couldn't do the convention circuit anymore. I had to plant feet, and I needed an umbrella to deal with all the stuff that I had accumulated up to that point: toys, comics, autographs, etc. The comic shop has always been the umbrella for geekdom. And to call any retailer a fake retailer doesn't understand what the comic shop offers to the geek public. It is the umbrella. And anything you put under that umbrella is part of the comic shop. And I would no sooner call Sean and Sean fake retailers as I would call anybody on this panel a fake retailer. Bryan is a live seller. That's no more fake retailer than anybody else. Emmet is the most legitimate comic shop on this panel. And I think he is just as much a not fake retailer as Bryan. And Jesse and I have both told the industry to go fuck themselves more times than I care to count. Right now, Jesse's coming back, and I'm looking at opportunities. We have to stop this very blinder horse model of there's only one way to be a comic shop, and that is not the only way to be a comic shop.
Right. Exactly.
One of those fake retailers just gifted 20 memberships. Shout out to Big Clutch, who just gifted 20 memberships to all you guys. Clutch, you're the best, brother.
Yeah, man.
It is just amazing how many fake guys there are in this industry.
How do you afford 20 memberships with
when
your
you're
fake
fake
store?
I know. Are those real memberships or are those fake memberships, right?
That's only for AI members.
Yeah, exactly. So the notion is if many of us start off buying collections and you'll walk into a collection, and we're talking about when you first start, and you'll say, oh, you got all this cool stuff. Where's your comics? And you go and you buy the comics and you walk out. We're no longer in that world. You buy everything.
Yep.
Right.
That's how I accumulated what I think is probably one of the largest collections of used vinyl. Every comic collection I went to go see, I saw a crate full of vinyl sitting in the garage or the attic next to them. I said, how much for the vinyl? They're like, oh, I don't know, a quarter a piece. I'll buy that too.
Yeah. When people come to me and they say, what do you buy? I say everything.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah.
And just because it's not comics doesn't mean we're not comic dealers.
If you're a comic book collector and love certain artists, look for Frazetta's on vinyl records.
Oh yeah. Molly Hatchet.
Yeah. Look for Tim Truman, who did a lot of the Grateful Dead.
Silver
Emerson,
Surfer.
Lake and Palmer.
Joe Satriani.
Yep.
That Geiger cover of Emerson, Lake and Palmer sells for $20 every time I get one in.
Yeah,
What about
Tool.
Robert Crumb doing?
Oh yeah.
Janis Joplin and
Todd McFarlane.
Big Brother in the Hole. Which one did I didn't know Todd did one?
Corn. Yeah, he did the Corn
really?
cover. Yeah.
But then, then here's the thing. I think it's America's Greatest Hits. That's Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
And
the horse with the people above it.
Yeah.
I think that's America's Greatest Hits. That was Phil Hartman before he became a comedian.
Oh, really?
And here's the thing, some people will say, well, I don't know how to sell CDs, or I don't know how to sell vintage shirts, or whatever.
Trust me, Jesse has no idea how to sell vinyl because I saw his vinyl selection. But he's selling vinyl.
Yep, exactly. Here's the thing, just learn it. And where you learn it the most from? Your customers.
Oh, yeah.
This one
when
right
I first
here.
got out of the military, I did brown goods and white goods. And then I moved, a guy hired me away into brown goods.
Yes,
That one?
that's Phil Hartman.
Wow.
Just look it up.
That's
it
what
should
this
say
is.
designed by
Yeah.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah, that's what this is.
His brother was the manager of the band, and they needed to do something, so he threw his brother some work.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, here we
And-
go. It says the artwork was by a then unknown artist named Phil Hartman, later famous as an actor and comedian, the brother of the group's then manager, John Hartman. The liner notes spell his last name as Hartman with 2 N's, the original spelling of his last name. That's freaking cool. I did not know that.
So I mean, this is I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this with you, Brian.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that before I was a record. And I've had people say I was a fake record store because I only sell old vinyl, But guess what? You get to find out a story like that makes, your hair stand up. And that I love that. That's what I still love about this business.
Agreed.
That Robert Crumb album cover is fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Next question. What percentage of monthly comic buyers read comic books, and what percentage of alternate cover books are read, in our opinions?
We actually got into a fight over this one time, Brian.
At my store, it's near 100%. Not a lot of variant covers, because we talk about the comics every time they come back in. Oh, what was your favorite of last week? What did you like? What did you didn't like? And I get real technical, which like a lot of people get a little perturbed about, because they're like, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, well, the setting, the trope, what about the book was the best? Explain it more than it was really good in this part, like what's the technical.
When they come in, do you put a white light on them against the white? Holy cow! Really?
No, yeah.
I'm afraid to buy a new issue right now.
Yeah, I like it to have a real intellectual conversation about the book. And
so there's one person that he's missing in that equation, and I believe it's still one of the bigger percentages. I think there are readers, there are collectors, and then there are
completionists.
Yes, that's
you wouldn't consider those collectors?
No,
no.
because they're not buying.
They could care less if it's a
but they're still collecting. They're collecting them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you should say that you shouldn't call it collectors. You should say flippers.
So Brian, the one person you've never met in your life is and now I have to adjust it because I used to tell this story when I was a 30-year-old comic dealer, and I used to say the 50-year-old guy who would sit at your dollar boxes with his 3-ring binder.
I've met those people. I used to be one of those people. I know those people.
Okay, well, those people have to complete their Action Comics run before they die, and they have a binder with 1,500 numbers in that binder under the word action, and they cross that list off, they may or may not read it, but they definitely have to complete that.
I still
They
think they're
will
an Action
spend-
Comics run collector, right?
I don't think that they
Yeah,
They
read
are
the comics.
Yeah.
So they
think
also
of-
don't care condition.
But they're still
Right.
Like these
collecting.
guys come in.
They're collecting. I used to collect nails, okay, when I was a
Yeah.
kid. I collected nails, okay?
Sure.
You're still collecting. You could collect
But
rocks.
they're not. They're not.
They act different than a collector.
Let me explain. If they were just a collector, they would go on eBay tomorrow and they would buy every single issue in that to finish their collection. But they have to find it at a cheap price. They have to find it in any condition. They have to cross that number off, but they don't want to do it by going to eBay and doing it, which they could do tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have to hunt it. They have to complete it. And I think there's a big difference between a collector and that, because a collector will just go, I have to have that variant cover and it's available on eBay for $20. I'm going to buy that today.
Right. Yeah, I think the
And to them, it's about the hunt and
Right.
not about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
I-
think they're still collectors. I think you just need to separate. They're different types of collectors. There's the collectors that buy based on
Yep.
secondary value as being the reason they buy, and then there's collectors
Yes.
that buy to complete a run. There's collectors
But
that
that's why I
buy
put 'em in
just
two different
because they like a
categories.
certain. Yeah, they're still
Right.
collectors. They're just different
But
types
they
of
are
collectors.
two different kinds of them.
Yes.
So why not just put them in two different
Yeah.
categories?
And, and readers just become collectors because
They stopped
books-
reading the book, but they still have to pick up their poll and they still have to have the
Exactly.
completed.
Yeah, so I think it's a high percentage of readers. I think when it comes to readers that read variant covers, most buy that because they like the cover or they like a Scotty Young art journal. And I don't think they're reading those books unless they didn't get cover A.
You guys know my answer on that. I'm the exact opposite of all these guys.
I honestly think that right now it's probably a pretty even split. Like a 33, 33, 33 by my description of the three different kinds of people. I think and this is backed up by Jesse's eBay. The collector will just go out to a show or go to eBay and just buy it.
Yep.
The
completionist.
the completionist has to find it at a show, has to find it at a comic shop, has
Yeah,
to find,
Has to touch it.
and then the reader, he'll read it any way he can get it.
Yep.
And
Trade paperback, omnibus,
Yep.
online.
Yep.
Like some of my guys don't read the books I sell them. They read it online.
they
which
collect
surprised
it
me.
until they get the trade or they get
Yep.
the digital, and then they
Right.
read it.
Right. And which really did surprise me because I didn't think digital was doing that much. But I guess what I started telling, like, if you want to be counted, right, and you want comics to survive, you have to spend the money. You can't just pirate the books.
I had a guy
Because you have
come
to
in.
be counted. Otherwise, people don't know the books are being
Yeah.
read.
I had a guy come in, and that also includes bootleggers too that read pirate comics.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. I had a guy come in and he had a full run of everything DC for 5 years. He said, I have to thin out this collection because I don't have enough room to store it. 5 short boxes. And it was everything Super Sons. It was everything Nightwing. It was everything. But he kept all the Batmans because he basically decided he didn't need the rest of the Batman families.
Yep.
So, I mean, that was, and he read every issue. I was like, oh, is this the one? He goes, yeah, that's the one where this happens. Oh, that's the one where this happens. So that's a reader. And once he consumed it and he decided he didn't want to collect it, it was nothing for him.
Right. The most interesting thing about variant covers, especially for a completionist, when you buy their collection and you're kind of thumbing through whatever, you're only seeing the top of the book. You're not even seeing the cover. You're just seeing Teen Titans 32. So it's a very interesting concept when we buy variant covers and stick them in a box. We're never going to see that cover again unless we're reading it. So
Everybody's wondering, giving me shit about my nail collecting, and I never specified what nails. Rusty nails, busty nails,
Yeah.
toenails, fingernails. No, when I was
I just
like learned how to walk, when I was like 2 or 3 years old or however old, we moved from Vegas to Phoenix, right? From Nevada to Phoenix, and my house was the only house built on my street. Everything else was being built. And I used to walk around looking for, I call them Keno because the game Keno, how they have the little pencils,
Yeah.
And so I thought I used to call nails Kenos because there was nails all over the neighborhood, different size
Right.
nails. And so I'd walk around, with my grandfather collecting Kenos. And I did that, for, I don't know, a
That's a
year.
great story.
Right.
That's a great story, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
So
all little kid, I used
in
to
the
pick up rocks. My pockets would be filled with rocks when I would get home. My mom would give me so much shit.
Yeah.
So I used to collect all my toenails for 2 reasons. I was told by a witch my senior or freshman year of college that all a witch needed was your nail clippings and they could put curses on you. So I collected all of my nail clippings, toe and fingers, for 10 years. And then I realized this was really stupid because I filled one of those super big pill bottles full of all my nail clippings.
Yep.
So
All right.
hold on. I gotta tell the prank though. I gotta tell the prank at the end.
Go ahead.
So then I got evicted from this house and they were going to completely destroy this house. So what we did was we put all kinds of things in the drywall and in the ceiling the ceiling panels because they were going to gut this whole building. That was this 4,800 square foot loft that I rented. It was fucking awesome. And so I poured all the nail clippings on the top of this ceiling tile. And then I punched a hole in it so that they would have to replace it. And then I poured all the fingernail and toenail clippings so that when they tore this down, a giant rain of nail clippings would fall on them.
No one ever clipped that story. If someone clips that story, holy cow. Wow.
God.
So much for dinner tonight.
Well, let's segue into a very interesting thing. One of my favorite creators in comics has recently, in the last year or two, started doing some content creation, and he is absolutely amazing. Mike Choi, shout out to Mike Choi, and we've talked about him multiple times on the channel.
I love Mike.
Yeah. And he recently commented on one of your videos, Emmet.
Oh,
Did
really?
you know this? Yeah, let's take a look.
I did not know that.
Here we go.
It's probably not happy
grade
with
the
me.
inside of the book and put it there, but you no longer can see any of the art.
I hear this argument all the time against slabbing comic books, but I disagree in the thought process behind it. The idea that once you slab a comic book, the pages inside might as well be blank because they'll never be read. Slabbing a comic book is not irreversible. If you have a comic book that's graded and slabbed as mint condition, you have a mint condition book. If you want to read it, take it out and then read it. It might no longer be mint after you read it, but until you do that, you have a mint condition book. Is the whole point of slabbing it. The saying is you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? In other words, you can't eat your cake and still have it. Basically, slabbing comic books is for us cake havers. But don't get me wrong, I buy comic books all the time, every week. So I love eating cake too. I love eating cake. That's a soundbite.
So I got a lot of that feedback from other people, and he made his own video, but didn't comment on mine. Otherwise, comment back. There's a philosophical thing about Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's cat, where the cat is both alive and dead until you look in the box.
Yep.
Well, hold on. You got to set it up right. The box it has radium
Poison.
in it. Poison radium in it. Okay. And you put the cat in, you seal up the box. At that moment, until you open the box, the cat is both dead and alive, is the thought process. This whole thought process is what took us to quantum thinking.
Right. So, and in this is that, because it's a clip, so I didn't get to expand on it, is that if these books sit in these things for 30 or 40 years and you go, oh, I want to break that out and read it, or slabbing's not the thing or anything, or, you know, who I had slab it is not the top guy anymore and I want to get it reslabbed, and you open and it turns to dust. I don't think they're made for long-term.
And that's highly possible.
Right. So
I always think back to that amazing scene in The Time Machine, the original 60s one.
Yeah.
Where he goes to the library of the Eloy and he touches the books and they just turn to dust.
Yeah.
What purpose are they? Now, they might actually survive longer in those slabs than they would if they were just sitting in our long boxes.
No, so there's lots of ways to maintain. When you go to the museum, do you see anything slabbed by CGC or PSA?
Well, no, but
you see
the Constitution,
the Mona Lisa, actually all of those.
Constitution, yep.
They're all in hyperbolic cases.
Glass with
there's plexi
inside.
There's bulletproof plexiglass.
Yeah.
It's not glass.
What's touching
Constitution.
What's touching is nothing is touching it. It's
right.
Gas that's in between.
Yes. It's
right, an inert gas that
which is changed
oxygen,
out periodically.
Right, so that oxygen can't.
Correct.
So PSA and CGC are not doing that. Correct.
Well, and then, you know, just in the chat, I just saw Kilted was saying about CDs were only supposed to last 10 years, but there's an entire movement that all of your DVDs and CDs are subject to disc rot.
Yep.
Yes.
And just Google disc rot on YouTube and you could go down that rabbit hole. And that is a real thing.
Yep. But you can get a 78 record made in the 1800s.
Yeah, and it still plays today.
Play today.
As long as your player will go to 78.
Yeah.
Next question.
That's pretty cool that he fapped me.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you think we will see a decrease in the number of open order variants in 2026? Will Marvel or DC stop giving random issues numerous different covers?
Could only pray. Being an
and
atheist,
I will say,
that wouldn't help me, but yeah.
To quote David Gabriel, and God, it was probably 15 years ago when a retailer stood up and said, will you please stop making variants? And he stood up in front of the entire retailer summit and said, I'll stop making variants when you stop buying them.
Exactly.
And I don't by both the presentation at San Diego and New York Comic-Con, the market has not stopped buying variants.
Yeah, I did a thing in, I think it was 2015, 2016, might still be on Bleeding Cool, where I announced buying cover Bs for DC. I believe it was DC. Maybe it was Marvel too. What impact did that have? Zero. Right? We're always going to have alternate covers. Why? Because they sell. It gives an artist a job. It gives an inker a job. It gives an artist a job. So there is a benefit to it in some way, shape, or form. And it's just the way the world works in the comic book industry. More is better, and it pads their numbers. So when they say, when they go up YZ, they go to Gabriel, they say, Captain America 217, we sold 50,000 copies. They don't break it down by cover A, B, and C. Yeah, they just sold 50,000 covers. We hit our mark, our 50,000 comic. We hit our mark, and that's their goal. However, to get that goal, that's what they then do.
Yep. It's all about padding their print numbers.
Yep.
Anybody else? So I think that if Marvel and DC are smart, they will quit doing the make an open order variant, turn the ratio into a 1 in 50 virgin. If they quit doing that, I think I'm good. I'm good with them to continuing doing the open order variants, but they have to quit doing that because it's such a cheesy cash grab. It doesn't help in the fact that you're opening us up to new artists or giving us a better choice. That is it makes me feel like you think we're stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope that
Half
they
of them
stop
are
doing
terrible.
that. And then the other thing is one of the best things they can do is pay attention to which cover you're putting on which variant. Like 1 in 50s, 1 in 25s, and 1 in 100s should be the
very
best
best
covers of them. The A cover should be what is the book about. Should be the A cover. And then the 1 in 25s, the 1 in 50s, the 1 in 10s, and 1 in 100 should be the best covers there are. And that's how you should do it, in my opinion.
100% agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sadly, some of the 1 in 100s are like awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Miller. Back to Frank Miller. When they said that was a variant that you had to achieve, I was like, I would not buy any number of books to get that.
Next question. What can indie creators do better to help raise awareness and sales to stores and their patrons, or what can we do better in general? And that comes from an indie creator, Mike White.
Yep.
So I'll go first on this, and it's what I've been saying for probably 15 years as well. You build your market, and when your market gets big enough to demand it from us, we will buy your product.
Yeah.
But until you build your market, I can't be responsible for building your market for you unless I know you, we have a relationship, and I want to do you a favor.
Yeah. Travel around the country and meet guys. Don't send us emails. I don't have time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't send me an email. A PDF, like I can get in maybe 1 or 2 pages. If it doesn't grab me in like the 1 or 2 pages, I don't have time to read your whole book that you're going to put out in 2 months, and I have to remember to order it. I'm an indie centric shop, so I buy at least 2 of every independent book. Because nobody's, coming in and asking for me to order it. So, but that's not going to, feed your family. 2 books from a small marketplace. You need a lot more than that.
Yeah. You have to be social relevant, not just social.
Yeah.
But here's
what you talk about.
did I just lose? Am I losing you, or did Jesse?
Yeah. No, Jesse's glitching a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just make it really simple. Look at Mark Spears. Do what Mark Spears did. Mark Spears got turned down by 200 publishers or 100 publishers or whatever the number was. He said, I'll do it myself. And he built a market within months. I was talking about it within days. Bryan McClay was talking about it. Top 10 lists were talking about it. And before you know it, we're buying Mark Spears comics.
Yeah. I just don't think there's not that many, there's not stories of that.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, the thing is
like,
right. But the thing is that's one of the ways.
Right.
I know, I opened my store 21 years ago. Walking Dead was on issue 19 when I opened my doors. Everybody who loved Kirkman came in and said, oh, Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead. When he got his TV show, Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead. End of season 2, everybody was coming in looking for Walking Dead. But at the exact same time, everybody was like, this is the next Robert Kirkman. This is the next Walking Dead. Nobody has been the next Robert Kirkman.
No.
Period. End of story.
Yep.
So there's always, but has there been successful? But has there been successful people that have followed the Robert Kirkman model and really carved out a niche in the comic industry? Not as big as Robert Kirkman, but a pretty decent size. I think there have been plenty that have done that. I don't think James Tynion is James Tynion without a Robert Kirkman roadmap.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to finish what I was saying.
I won't disagree. I haven't thought about that enough to to give him that kind of credit, because comics didn't start with Robert Kirkman. So like he followed somebody else's roadmap, who followed somebody else's roadmap.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying he chopped down the trees and paved that road. Right. I'm just saying every single person, including people that had a different road ahead of Robert Kirkman, we're all trying to figure out how they could be the next Robert Kirkman.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. With that, yes, 100%.
So what I was saying is be socially relevant, which means you can't always be talking about comics. You got to be talking about just life in general. If you're a new indie person, you have to just be the most common person possible. Get people to like you. I buy a lot of books. I've done a lot of exclusives because I like the person. I know in general they like dogs or they like Mexican food, whatever it is. But you can't just be always pushing your book down people's throats.
Yeah.
And so find a way to navigate into people's regular life.
I've noticed that all my interviews with creators that I've had don't do well because it seems like a long ad.
Yeah.
When you just get in and start talking about comics and where you started reading them and all the love of comics and how you created the characters and stuff like that, people connect with you and then they want to support you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you go on shows, don't make it a 30-minute pitch for your book.
No.
Make it a 30-minute pitch for yourself.
Yep.
For who you are. And the people who connect with you will buy your book. And then if they connect with you, they'll probably connect with your writing. It just runs that way.
Yep.
I think we get all stuck into this whole promote. And, you know, it just comes off disingenuous or not real or whatever.
I think the best thing to do is to, create good product first, right? I mean, work at your craft. Yeah, work at your craft. And then utilize social media as your product. You could you would do more creating 15 social media posts for your product, showing the story, talking about it, coming up with cool, creative ideas for social media posts about your IP than you would sending to 100 retailers, in my opinion.
Or going on a podcast with 200 people and just selling.
Yeah. So, I
want to say that speaking about that quality thing that you were talking about. Now, I saw a book on Instagram, and it doesn't seem like my type of book, but the quality was so good, I'm interested in carrying it. And I'd never heard of the publisher before. It's Dang with an exclamation point comics. And they have a book coming out called Sharks something. I have it saved in my Instagram and I don't have to go back to it.
I'll tell you what, do I have one here? Yeah, I put this here because one of these, I knew we would have an opportunity to talk about it. Do you guys remember this comic from about 10 years ago?
The sideways one?
Yes, Fairlane the Goblin.
Is that the one that Scotty Young did a variant for? Yeah, that's the one Scotty Young did a variant for.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
I have the Scotty Young variant, yeah.
Okay, well, this book arrived in everybody's Diamond order for free 1 week. And I contacted Diamond and said, I would like to buy all the remaining copies you have in stock. I was blown away by this guy. And artist was unknown. I then found out, and I don't know, there's a Wikipedia page for it. I then found out that this guy had all of his comics in a storage place, and every copy was destroyed in a fire of what was left. So it never got distributed, but 2 and 3 finally did come out. And I finally found out the name of the artist. I can't remember what it is now, but look it up. That guy bet on himself to say, Diamond, I don't want you to sell issue 1. I want you to give a free copy to all the retailers that you have on your list. And 1,000 retailers or more received a copy of that. I was the only one that bought out all of Diamond's supply of that. Now, I think the book is worthless, but he made me give a shit because I loved it and I loved what he did. And I wanted to thank him for doing that. And if it had worked out and it became the next Bone or the next something else, then I would have benefited. But he impressed me enough that I gave him $500 and I bought, like, I think it was 200 copies of it, and it was a $5 book. You know what I'm saying? That's what you have to do sometimes. And did it succeed for him? I don't think so. But maybe that 500 I gave him made him have enough money to buy issue 2 or make issue 2 and then 3 and get Scotty Young to do a variant of it or anything like that. Does anybody know anything about that guy?
No, I don't. I just know that it's one of the rarest Scotty Young variants out there. So I do know that. I don't know anything else. So
because I think all of them got burned up.
Next, do any of you guys have Pokemon inventory in your stores? I'm looking for Magic Carp.
Magic, just the Magic Carp card?
I don't know.
The what, from the series 1? From the first, I got thousands of Magic Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I've got over 50 5-row monster boxes in my back room full of nothing but Pokemon extras.
Yeah.
I have close to 1,000 Pokemon cards in both of my stores on display in the store, individually priced, as well as 3 to 4 binders in each store of different hollow $1 to $5 hollows.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any store I visited over the last year of traveling that didn't have Pokemon cards. I think that's almost a standard now in a collectible
great
store.
Margins, yeah. I mean, tough not to carry them. Magic is also this, So I have 1.5 million Magic cards because I was Magic way before Pokemon, and the commons and uncommons.
Yeah.
The new set dropped, and 2 cards from old sets became playable. They went from
which 2?
God, I can't remember because I'm not the Magic guy. I have a guy that does that.
Message me later.
I will. One went to $25 from 15 cents, and I had 30 of them.
Nice.
And the other one went to $18 from, I think, 25 cents or something like that. And I only had 12 of those. So it just sits there, and every time a new set comes out.
But here's the thing. So one of the things that I feel makes you play this marathon game called collectible selling is if you never have to dump something that you bought and you have a place to store it, you're always going to be able to play that long game. Emmet had a box that cost him $1 a month for the last 5 years to store. And he got to open that box up and pull out $500 worth of cards that paid for that rent of the other 1.4999 million cards that aren't going to make him money this week.
Yeah. Every new set, there's something that's found. Synergy with some old card.
Now, it was awesome. Brian remembers all my posts. It was awesome to find out that the Alex Ross Champions 1 in 25 that I had 20 or 30 or 50 of, I don't even remember.
What did you buy them on a summer sale?
No, I bought. I did a
Diamond.
variant for Champions 1,
Yeah.
and I got all the 1 in 25s, and I just had a big box of Alex because I'm like, that's Alex Ross. It's a great cover.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like $100 raw, $500 raw, $1,000.98, and I had all of the flip side guys coming over. Can I get like 2 more of those? And I'm like, yeah, here you go. Go away, kid. You know, and it was, but I couldn't do that if I didn't have a warehouse to store all of the movie theater to warehouse all of the shit that I wasn't ready to sell because it was all free money just sitting there. If I dumped it all for $1 a piece or, you know, tried to get the $25 ratio that nobody wanted to pay for that book at that time, if I have a warehouse, I can just sit on it. And I'm like, I already made my money off the variant. I don't have to sell this.
Right. Yeah, and I think the other great thing about it is it's the comic book father or wife. It's a great distraction piece. Hey, kids, go look at the Pokemon cards.
Yep.
And
it was always a side hustle. The Pokemon was always a side hustle for the comics or the toys or something that you're passionate about. And at a certain point, 2 years ago, that side hustle became the hustle.
Yep.
It became one of the hustles. And over the last year, it literally became the hustle. Like, okay, where can I get more packs? I got this comic collection. Okay, I'll buy that comic collection, but I'm too busy over here buying these 2 Pokemon collections that are coming in. So give me a second. I'll look at your comics, but I have to buy this collection.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And as Bryan, you've seen the dips. I've seen you go from live selling comics to live selling cards. And then I've seen you go back to live selling comics. And then I've seen you know what I'm saying? You go where the money is. And if the money is drying up at one place, why burn through inventory that you have less profit into when you can sell something else that you have way more profit built into?
Totally. Yep.
Why dump it?
Yep.
You're only contributing to the price lowering at that point. And if you don't want to be in that game, sure, dump it, get out, and move on to something else. Or save it, wait till the market comes back. It's a perfect example. Bryan, I didn't even tell you because I haven't had freaking time. I just sold a Something is Killing the Children #1 for $950, 9.8 CBCS. That had been sitting in my eBay store for 3 years because I missed the $1,000 hits from 3 years ago at the end of the COVID, and it got all the way down to 600. It got to 500. It got to 400, I think, at one point when I saw buy the dip, right?
Yep.
And it's come back up to it's at 950, and that made me go into my vault and pull the other 5 copies I have of that in 9.8 out of the vault. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because I wasn't in a hurry to dump it.
Yep.
Right.
Amen. It's all about that time. It's kind of like they say with psychedelic trips. It's all about set and setting. Same thing with what you're selling, your collectibles. It's all about when and where you're selling it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, next question. Here's a good one. Do you guys think you will ever get into VHS and DVD sales? And that, I imagine I think he's thinking collectible as in grading stuff, not as in selling physical media in your store.
So, yes and no. Do I think that there was a giant artificial market in $10,000 graded VHS sealed tapes? Absolutely. Because if I look at a record sale of a VHS tape at $10,000 for a sealed VHS tape on a giant auction house, if I can't find an exact extrapolation down to an open black spine cassette selling for any amount of money, then I think that's ridiculous. Because when Mario sold for the Mario whatever,
Video game.
What I'm the Mario game, when it sold for sealed $1 million,
and then it was
There's
found out that
still
they
a
bought it.
value. There was still a value in an
Right.
open played copy of that
Sure.
same game. Maybe it's only $10, maybe it's only 20, maybe it's 50 with a box, 100. But a sealed box selling for $1 million, that's the extrapolation point. But I was watching VHS copies that were selling for $10,000 that you couldn't get $5 for. However, I said that market has wings, coattails. And when somebody buys a copy of Star Wars Fox first release VHS or beta or whatever, I know that I'm going to put a copy of that out at $20. And somebody who saw that sold for $10,000 will buy that for $20. I've sold VHS Halloweens for $50 a piece.
Yeah.
I've sold so you have to build the market. If you wait for the market to come to you, then you're not in the building a market business. I just sold, oh God, what was the stupid? I can't even remember. Somebody just called me today. Yeah. TV VCR. Sold one today for $250.
Oh, you sold it cheap.
Yeah.
I'm in my market. I paid $50 for it, so I'm good. I'm happy.
All right.
But that sold out of Cosmic Pop today, and they sent me a message. And it was a bunch of Army dudes that wanted to buy some VHSs for their what do they call the Army barracks?
Yeah.
So they bought it for their barracks so they could watch old VHSs. Okay, that's building a market.
Yep.
And guess what? They bought 5 VHS tapes to watch in it.
And there is a lot. I mean, as far as grading and making thousands of dollars on stuff, no, but the margins are insane when you're buying them at 25 cents a piece.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll take that all day long. You find Criterion Collection.
Oh yeah.
You find the HD DVDs.
Oh, I know.
You've the metal box ones with the
steel books.
Steel books.
Yes.
There's all kinds of money to be made in physical media. That's not thousands, but you're turning them.
Yes. Yeah.
Way better.
I started in the month of November with having the Toledo store post some stuff to eBay, and they're going to keep it in eBay, and we're going to catalog how much of the stuff that they felt was overage. I mean, I love a copy of Steelbook, The Thing, but I don't know if the customers are going to be there for it. And they decided that they would rather put that on eBay and get the $60 for it on eBay.
Yeah.
That's still $60, and that's
my entire eBay is stuff I don't think I can sell in my market.
Exactly. Is somebody going to buy that for 60? Yes.
Yes.
Are they going to come in that Toledo store? Maybe not.
Right. Well, the one thing with VHS, DVDs, cassettes, no one brings in one tape.
Right.
No one brings in one DVD.
Yeah, you have to buy the good and the bad.
Yeah, they're bringing in hundreds.
Yep.
And so the notion is, do you buy all of them and just get them for a great price, or do you cherry pick? Well, most likely you're then buy all of them. And so your margins and your turn rates are very important, but you also realize you only have to sell about 10 of the 100 to actually make, to double your profit, triple your profit. So it's a very interesting thing. What we do is we buy 100, we sell 15, 20, we keep about 10, 15 per stock, and anything we know we can't sell, we just take to Goodwill and donate. And so we're always just turning.
Nice. Well, we are 3 hours and 15 minutes in, and we're getting ready to end it. But before we end it tonight, this comment, I bought some comics from one of you, and you taped the actual comic book. The box. I don't know what he says here. I bought some comics from one of you, and you taped the actual comic book to the box itself. Use blue tape, and that's it. What the fuck? Well, name names, man. Like if you're gonna say,
because I don't use blue tape, but
I do.
I don't also.
I hate blue tape.
I use blue tape.
I don't.
So
I don't pack my stuff. I got a guy that packs. So if he
Yeah, I have a
fucked
whole
up,
warehouse. I have
I
a whole
will-
warehouse staff.
I will fucking crucify him and make it right by you. But
In fact,
Yeah,
actually, I designed my own T-mailer, and I designed it so that you wouldn't
Really?
have to. Yeah,
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he said.
I'll,
But it's
did I?
60
Holy-
shows
you've
ago.
Are
only
you being
told me-
sarcastic?
50
Yeah.
shows ago. 50
Oh,
shows
okay.
ago.
Yeah.
But the point is that T-mailer is so that I don't have to use tape, that
Yeah.
I can tighten
Right.
it across
Yeah.
very well, and it doesn't have the give that a regular T-mailer has, so we don't use tape. But I would love to.
I use
And then
I
I
use
think you
blue
should-
tape, so
But
We
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
use tape at all to tape the comic into the thing unless
But
one of my
don't you?
staffers is
You
doing
it's in
it.
a bag and a board, though, right?
Yeah, it's in a bag and a board,
Yeah.
so I would never tape a comic to the box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slade,
And-
tell us.
Yeah. And then
Well-
you got that one question from that some guy. Never heard of him. I think I've heard of him. Did you see that one question
what
before we leave?
No.
Yeah, but some I don't know. I think he's an artist, a colorist, inker, penciler, editor.
Oh, the person didn't use blue tape.
What
That's
can
his-
creators do in 2026 that can help retail stores? From Mark
Yeah.
Spears.
Yeah, there. That's right, Mark Spears. I can't remember his name. Holy cow!
So what can
Let us
creators
get into
do to
some
help
other merch.
retailers?
Find a place for us to get some other merch.
What do you mean by that?
So I know
Spencer
t-shirts
had
are
the t-shirts.
t-shirts. Maybe we don't get t-shirts. Maybe we get hats. Maybe we get dice. Who knows?
Leg
Like,
warmers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thongs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just offering an expansion of what makes sense with your product. You know, when I
'Cause you have
first
such a strong brand now. It's so
Yeah.
strong.
You know what? I would buy the crap out of a pair of Mark Spears pajama pants.
Yeah, when I first did my very first exclusive, I'll never forget this, and I didn't understand the game at all when you're signing your contracts on fair use of your cover. So when I did my very first comic book exclusive with Zenoscope with Mike DeBalfo, I did an amazing cover for Myths and Legends, and all of a sudden I get this from, I forgot the catalog. It starts with a Z, not Zenoscope, but it starts with a Z. And all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, did you want to buy a skateboard with this cover and Christmas ornaments?" And it was my cover that they were doing it on. And I'm like, "Holy cow, this is crazy."
I had the same problem,
Yeah.
Jesse. But finish your story.
Yeah, so I think the notion is that if you can create product that kind of is out of the norm, but you don't have to invest in a lot, especially a lot of these companies where you only have to buy one t-shirt if you sell one t-shirt, right? And I think that's what comic book stores are looking at. How can they accessorize a one sale comic? How can they take a $10 comic and make a $100 sell and maybe not even sell another comic with it? I think that's very important.
How about-
I think QR coding some of your stuff so that they can get a little bit more information while they're looking at the book, and it takes them to this is what this book is about. I think that helps a lot of comic book stores out there. And we're not just talking about Mark, we're just talking about in general.
Yep.
Any creator. And I think just again, socially being out there and asking questions to your customer base, that gives you the answer for what the retailer needs to do.
Jesse,
I wish there was birthday, Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day cards from the comic
Ooh.
creators.
Yeah.
Because that market, people are always buying birthday cards.
Yeah.
Right. And I miss out on those sales because their people are in my store every week. And if they saw a rack of greeting cards from comics, they would always buy them.
Somebody must have told Ethan you were complaining about it, Emmett.
What was I complaining about them?
I had Patrick
Always?
Zercher do this cover for Carnage #1 for Detroit Fanfare. It was my exclusive. it was, if you remember, it was the one that had Spider-Man and Iron Man on the cover with nothing to do with Carnage was the cover A. And I had that cover. And sure as shit, when they released the trade paperback, they put my cover on the trade paperback. And I'm like, I don't get anything. I'm the one that paid Zurchard for the cover. And they're like, no, we get the rights to use it for anything.
Ethan says, gentlemen, I wish I could be in business with any of you. Well, Ethan, we got to get you back on the show, my friend. I think that we were just talking about, Ethan, the other week about the Fan Fest thing that we talked about, which I think, that's a great way for creators to do like cons and stuff. I think would be absolutely amazing.
I think that the business model of building your fan base and then figuring out how to reward the fan base is the business model of the 21st century.
Yeah, and we're getting ready to go to one
Sworn Fest.
9 days, 11 hours, and 29 minutes. So that's going to be interesting. We'll all be there.
This could be you, Ethan.
Here, but I think that is a major key. But the problem is like, how do you get retailers involved in that? And that's one of the things that I think we're going to talk to Bryan tomorrow night that I'll bring up. Like, how do you get retailers involved in something like that to help them? Because it's a totally different type of thing.
I think the issue that retailers have, we're not, well, I shouldn't speak for everybody, but a good portion of retailers have zero time management experience. They're just not good at time management.
You're right, and they shouldn't have to
come in.
And Jesse, but I say it all the time. How much time does Emmet waste doing the rigmarole of FOC, initial orders, and all of that? And for me, guys, fake retailer, antiques dealer, fake retailer. The second I shed myself of all of that wasted time and came up with a different business model, I had so much more free time to do other things, study other pivots, create other avenues of revenue. I think that's important. And the industry should figure out a way to streamline that to give all the retailers more free time.
Well, I mean, none of the publishers give a shit how we do that job. Because they, like, Diamond had the same system for the entirety of the time I was a retailer. From when I signed up till when they closed the doors, their ordering system was the same. It was way better than what we're using now. I could go to new releases and see, oh, did I miss a book? Because somebody said, hey, where is this book? And I could go in and see new releases, right? Just the books that were supposed to be out today, I could see them. And if I did miss it, I could order it right there on the page. Don't have any of that anymore.
Mark says, secret to life and business, be able to pivot. Amen.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So,
but here's, well, go ahead, finish, Emmet. We didn't.
I was just going to say, like, there's so much, like both Lunar's page and Penguin's page don't load correctly because they're trying to load too much because it's an old antiquated system. And so I can miss books that way because I'll actually take out variants and just see the regular A covers. So it will load. I can only look at one week at a time because it won't load any other way. It's just, they are the worst ordering systems of anything. And I have 7 different distributors for, all the different, I have video games, you got to buy from Uline. I buy from Uline for the toilet paper and all the other stuff. So they have an ordering system. I use a lot of ordering systems.
It's winter time. It's winter time, and I just have to show off my daily hoodie.
Your hoodie wear.
Yep.
I wear this every day during the winter time. It's the most comfortable hoodie I own.
Yep.
Can't speak enough about it.
Let's talk about that because that's another quick thing to tie into that merchandise thing. I think that creators, like you said, Emmett, to bring in other merchandise, it can be key. If you have an IP that you can sell other things other than comics at that IP, like Mark is doing with his shirts and cards, like Ethan can do with his toys and he does his action figures, he does his cars, his little die-cast cars, obviously clothes. If you can figure out ways to get that other merchandise into those retailer stores, that's a key, because comic shops have become collectible shops.
Right.
And that is it is such a glaring thing that people don't realize. And talking with a lot of the people who are quote unquote industry people, they don't understand that. They think that you can just get away by selling only comics in a comic shop, and very few brick and mortar shops are able to do that. Very few. So that's
You have to be in a very large, well, I can't say that, but most parts in a very large market where you're getting so many people through the door, you can survive on mostly new comics and comics alone. In medium and smaller markets, man, it is a grind.
Right. But I think that's why you have to have other platforms to make up for that traffic by doing live streaming and all that.
Sure.
My point is this. How much do you think it costs, Brian, to send me this wardrobe?
Oh, yeah.
Hoodie, this hat, right?
Yeah.
What did it cost him? The marketing he makes on me wearing this in the store, doing a live stream, exactly, is tremendous. So I think what we have to what we have to look at when we're looking at publishers is make us part of your program. Help us out a little. Send us some merch. Send us some stickers.
That's Emmett's wearing a Loot Crate, right? That was a Loot Crate shirt.
I think you're right.
Because I own 2 of those.
Yeah.
And
is it a
Jesse's
Stranger
wearing
Things shirt or something?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, from the 2nd season. I believe.
Yep.
I have my Cyber Frog hoodie.
Right.
I wear it religiously during the winter. It's too warm to wear in the summer, Ethan. I tried. Don't worry. But there are people who want their IPs out there, and then there are people who wait for their IP to be done something with.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Yes,
the other thing is, whenever you hand it over to somebody else,
there and actually, Brian, can
your
you
margins start getting smaller and smaller and smaller?
Right.
I'll pull it up because it's a quote that I shared this week, and I come back around to this quote literally several times a year. Sometimes, oh shit! Hold on. Sometimes you have to risk it all for a vision no one can see but you. And there are people who understand that, and then there are people who sit around and wait for it. You have to go out there and make your bones, period.
Yep. Yeah, well, and the big thing about that, Dennis and Emmett and Brian, the chat room is, keep in mind, someone walks into the store. I have, 70,000 comics on my floor. If they have some form of direction, if they've never been in my store before, and they say, well, what is he wearing on that hat?
Yeah.
What is that? What's Coffin Comics? Oh, let me show you over here. So we have to understand that when someone comes in the store for the first time, they're looking for direction, and they have the wow factor, right? They come into our stores, are like, holy cow. How many people say I've never been into a comic book store before? Right.
I had a YouTuber come by on Saturday. Told me, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for creators, publishers, even distributors to get promos out there that will help them tremendously, right? I'll give you a prime example. So obviously you guys know my store is sponsored by Paramount Pictures and Lionsgate. So this is the promo that we got today that we're giving out. We got 100 of these. Never heard of it.
No, send me a copy of that, Jesse.
Okay.
I want to watch it.
That's the new Channing Tatum movie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
With Peter Dinklage.
That are only sent to about 25 stores across the nation. So they're putting their footprint in this store.
Yep.
So I think it's very, very important. So if you are someone out there who says, wow, the cost is XYZ, you got to look at what you're earning, that earning value of being there in that store. I think that's very important.
Yeah, agreed. All right. What do we got coming up? You guys got anything special coming up?
I'm going to save my new pivot for next week.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing for next week. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'll have to come up with a pivot for next week.
Yeah.
Pivot next week, Emmet. You better fucking have a pivot for next week.
Maybe I'll just be the pivot man.
There you go.
Pickups.
I'm going to start collecting toenails again.
And you guys got any pickups?
Yep.
All right. Let's see them.
I'm too busy to take pictures of my pickups.
First one, this is for me personally. I got a ECW Rob Van Dam.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's
got
great.
That in. Yep. And then I got a New Jack.
So what did you look these up?
Did you get a Sandman?
Do they have secondary value?
Yeah. So this one we priced at 75. It's a little bit below market, but we don't want to be exactly at market. We want to give good deals. Now, I didn't know this one existed, and I got a lot of offers on it the second I put it up. We're going to sell it in the store because I have a lot of good wrestling fans. But check out this.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Is that the Owen Hart?
Yep.
Yeah.
That.
Did you find me a rhino?
No rhinos yet. And then I got this set.
Oh yeah.
I actually just got a set of those loose.
So my pickup, it's funny you talk about those, Jesse. I'll be showing a pickup on tomorrow night's show. A viewer sent me in a Blunt Man figure like that. Just the Blunt Man, which is Kevin Smith, signed by Kevin Smith.
Right.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually just sold a cock knocker Mego style figure on eBay this week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I got that. And then I got this cool set there.
So you picked up a huge WWF set or wrestling set.
And then I got a couple more items. I did get, so I got these three in, which was very cool.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Ultimate Warrior. And then I got Hey Chico, Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
Yokozuna, which I didn't know. Nice. I've never seen that one before.
That's a horrible face sculpt on that one, by the way.
Yeah. I got I got this tonight.
Ozzy. Nice.
Yep.
That's
very
sick.
nice Ozzy. And then I got this 3-pack.
Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, that's early Funko.
Yep.
Yeah.
The head knockers.
Yep.
What do those sell for? Did you look those up?
Yeah, I have them at 100 a piece. And then
100 a piece. Holy cow.
Yeah. I got.
Oh, that's a great Spawn figure right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I have one more item.
That was later in the run, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, let me go grab it. Hold on.
So I was wondering if he got that Sandman for ECW.
Oh my God, he's gonna start digging through the trash to show us stuff.
Stone Cold stole Sandman's whole bit.
And then I got this.
Oh, what is that?
Hold
the
on.
Titantron
Yeah.
with McMahon.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, all sealed, never open.
Oh,
yeah.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
That is
cool. The only bad thing about that one, Jesse, it's all sealed, except for it's got 25-year-old Chinese cheap batteries in it. And you can.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a try me button on it. And if that try me button still doesn't work, you have a high probability that those batteries have exploded and done damage to the.
No.
Yep.
That sucks.
So thank you for destroying my last item that I was very excited about. Now I'm afraid to open it up.
What I do.
Sell it now. Some kids then buy it, and then I'm going to be on the news.
How many ECW figures did you get?
It was the whole set. So I got the whole set plus all the New Jack era ones. So there's a whole bunch that they put like on Dudley Boy, the Dudley Boys, they accidentally put New Jack on them. So I got those. I got all the errors. It was a great collection. All together is about 300 wrestling figures.
Did you get a Sandman? Did they make a Sandman?
Yeah, I have a Sandman. Yep.
Oh,
They made Rhino in that, and you don't have Rhinos.
Yeah,
You don't have the complete set.
Yeah, no, I still have boxes I haven't opened,
okay.
but yeah, once I find the Rhino, you can definitely have it. So, but wrestling is huge because NXT is down the street from me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's so huge that KO number 4 this week had a wrestling variant.
Oh, fun.
Yep.
Look at that. That's pretty badass.
Yep.
Barbed wire chair. That's a
old
That's a
school
callback.
ECW.
Yeah.
And the great thing about this is Clay Mann, who does a lot of covers for Absolute, Batman. I didn't know he was shopping at my store every week until like 3 weeks ago, where he said, I do covers for Absolute Batman. I'm like, oh.
This
all
is
right.
DWJ.
Well, hold
right
on
here.
though. Hold on though. Pull down just a second. And this is back to all the questions in the chat. This is Scott Snyder. 1 day is it left to pre-order?
He says 1 day left to pre-order the penultimate issue of DC KO. Final order cutoff for the badass Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike. Is that Mike Spicer? I don't know. Spicer color cover is tomorrow. Cure covers ASAP. So it's on.
That's
FOC.
what I expect a comic creator to do.
Yes.
He promotes. Is that issue 3 of KO?
4.
4. He's promoting issue 4 like it's issue 1. He's putting the shout out to the artists, and not just like, hey guys, go into your comic shop and buy it today. Tell your comic shop to pre-order this. 1 day left to pre-order. That's what I expect comic creators to do.
Yep.
Amen.
Brian, can you put this up real fast?
Mm-hmm.
Sabu?
Oh, Sabu.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did that say pivot on there?
Sabu's last
Pivot
match.
punch.
Oh yeah, pivot punch. There you go.
You got to keep that. That needs to go on the wall, Jesse. Don't sell that one.
Sabu, rest in peace, Sabu. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the great high flyers, man. The things he would
a lot
do
of
off the
people's
top rope. Holy
favorite
shit.
wrestler. Which is pretty crazy. All right. Final question. How many cover artists today do you think have never written a comic or have created a mainstream character? A lot. Quite a bit.
I'd say 90%.
90%, yeah. Yep.
And Mark Spears is 5% of that.
Yeah,
he's the 5% of the 10%.
Yeah, he's the 5% of the 10%. Exactly.
Yeah.
Scotty Young is probably another of the 5%.
Yeah, that's very challenging. A lot of people are just great artists, and that's the extent of it.
Well, unlike Mark though, a lot of the cover artists can't do sequentials. That's why they're cover artists.
Yeah,
Mark, I'm talking about you. Get out of the chat.
Telling a sequential story is not easy. Probably the hardest thing in art to do is to tell a sequential story with art. And a lot of cover artists don't do interiors anymore. They only do covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you got it.
So it's
it's not worth it for them. They don't pay enough. The big companies don't pay enough for the big creators to work for them.
Well,
you know what I mean?
The classic story
they're paying more for the cover than they are for the sequentials. That's
Larry Hama figured out that he was getting, and I think it was a ridiculously number, so just bear with me. I'm wrong on the numbers, but he was doing art and he was getting $50 a page or something, or $30 a page. And then he found out the writers got the same amount of money and he wouldn't have to draw so much. So he started writing. And that's why Larry Hama was a prolific writer, because he got paid just as much to not draw.
A good writer could write 5 comics a month. Easy.
Yeah, it's very interesting to try to figure out when, obviously the 70s, the cover artist was the interior artist, most likely 90% of the time, when that kind of got to 50-50. right? And obviously 91, 92, 93. You have, well, I don't know. Most of those people wrote the did the interior as well for Image. So I don't know when that happened, when that became that 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird shift. This the cover artist thing is for me a weird shift. I mean, probably since the variant
age.
You know, the variant age.
Yeah. All right. Tomorrow night, Brian Polito is going to join us on the Wednesday Night Review to talk about Swornfest. And we'll have a mini market report. We'll talk about New Comic Book Day. Thursday night, we'll have a Whatnot comic book sale. Friday night, House of Stein Hot 10, the hottest 10 issues on the secondary market for this week. Saturday night, Modern Comic Mayhem. Sunday night, eBay Live comic book sale. And Monday night, eBay Live card sale. What do you guys got?
Yeah, you know, what's crazy is before we had this meeting, there was a notion that we wouldn't get any questions. So thank you, chat.
Yes.
For coming to the dance.
Yes.
Were you
Thanks
the one
for
that
asking
said
so
that?
many questions. We're here for an extra 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Almost a 4-hour show tonight.
We should have bet Dennis. We should have bet Dennis.
I would send the link out to this guy, but I know it would turn into another 3-hour conversation. So I'm going to save that for tomorrow night. We'll see you tomorrow night, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll try to get Mark to hang out with us tomorrow night.
Gemmy award-winning artist.
Gemmy award-winning artist. Yes. Mark Spears. I don't know if you saw that, but you were an award-winning artist.
I texted it to him before I sent it to you, schmucks.
Yeah.
Yep. Work on those socks. I'm waiting for socks. We need socks. We need Mark Spears socks. ASAP.
And here we go, Mark. I may have secured an unholy grail, you guys.
Ooh.
Yeah.
More news on that later.
Oh, one more thing. The one thing we don't want to see Mark do is do not create Mark Spears toenails. We are scarred for life with that story. Now, when I buy a house, I'm going to say, did you check that? Make sure there's no toenails in the
You don't want to know about the frozen fish that we had in the freezer.
Yeah.
Gross. Love you guys. We'll see you soon. Adios.
Peace out.